Hey guys, this is lycheepunnet. I'm coming to you with Elpres as always,
Yo,
and returning and concurrent guest Teru to talk about. I should probably let you introduce yourself because you're the star of this show.
Yay,
he cares.
idols, right? Uh,
Yeah,
so
so
I'm I can I shout out my thing?
yeah, go for it.
Cool. So I've posted this online a couple of times. If you are someone who hasn't seen it yet, I have made a podcast where I talk about Love Live Sunshine as a deck, uh, with the first set and then going forward with the second set and some build ideas I have. You can find that on my blog, lunchbeforews.wordpress.com.
We'll link it in the notes as well. And yeah, so if you hadn't put one and one together, this is the Love Live Sunshine Extra Booster Cast, where we cover everything new from the littlest booster that could. This is
This is
a
a 50
add-on.
card, 54 card booster. Little my ass.
Yeah.
It is okay, fine, the sizable booster that could. How about that?
It's just slightly more overspec than an average extra booster.
Idle privilege. Anyway,
Music
this
tax.
is intended to boost up the somewhat lackluster first booster of Love Live Sunshine to a very playable level, and I think it has mostly succeeded. Uh, Yeah, we're going to cover all the cards in the set, starting with yellow, moving to blue, and no, moving to red, and then to blue. Hopefully, all in one video. And we'll be starting very soon. Before we do start, I want to talk very quickly about two things, actually. The first is I am now obligated to shout out to Strictly Broken, one of the new upcoming TCG stores. They are hosting articles that we write, and they will also,
Chill,
yeah, they're providing a conduit for us to shill ourselves out. They
chill.
But we don't even get paid to do the videos that we currently do. We
No,
Yeah,
like
we
that
don't.
we like
that's
literally have never enabled monetization in the 2 years we've been doing this.
Oh,
that's
so
the
true.
joke.
We should consider that at some point. But for now, everything is going to be 100% free. We're not going to force anything on you, and we're not going to Patreon you like some other casts like
Oh,
to
it
try
also
and
means
do.
if you get ads watching our video, it's not our fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we would never force that on anybody. Anyway,
Also,
so that's that. Check them out at strictlybrokentcg.com. With the articles coming up, they've got new stock for all the new sets. You can contact them on Facebook as well at the relevant Facebook. Look, I do all that stuff anyway. Now to us, top tier tiers. We have a standard rating system that anyone who's watched these videos before has probably seen already, but I'm going to go through it anyway because chances are someone out there is watching this for the first time. And if you are, welcome and thanks for watching. Anyway, system. It is shown on the right side of the screen. If you're not watching this, if instead you have the MP3 or whatever, then that's cool. I'll talk about it. It goes from good to bad. So good is cards that you actively want in your deck, that you want to put in your deck to begin with. They are strong cards. They let you make plays, and they let you do cool things. Then you have playable cards because Weiss is a game of role players. You need level ones, you need level twos, you sometimes need level twos, you need level threes for certain, and you need level zeros,
That's false.
definitely.
You don't need level threes. You're just like probably doing yourself a severe disservice about them.
Look, it's like this is like the introduction. Can you wait to shout out roaches? Is that something you
yeah,
anyway?
I think you just wasted that one, man.
That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
that's your quota done. Anyway, playable cards. Lots of your cards will merely be playable. This is not a bad thing. This does not detract. Instead, this is just use this as an indicator of a card that you're happy to have in your deck and is not embarrassing to have in your deck. Speaking of embarrassing to have in your deck, bad cards. Bad cards are either actively bad, they contribute to you losing, or they are completely outclassed by something else. For example, a counter that is 1,500 power is completely outclassed by a 2,000 power counter because in 99.9% of scenarios, you'd much rather have the 2,000 power.
All
And
the
lastly,
2K
we have
counters are like fake conditioned too, so
exactly. So basically, they're
Well,
strictly better.
mhm.
And lastly, we have the niche rating. Well, second to last, I guess. The niche rating is for cards which need a lot of support to do well. Not necessarily bad cards. Sometimes they're bad cards. Sometimes they're even good cards, but they need you to build around them before they are any good at all. We do have a couple of other ratings that are kind of rare. The first one is Dank Meme because I don't actually know why we have this rating, but we've gone so far down the rabbit hole that we now have a Dank Meme rating.
I
If you
think
don't
that's
know what,
me.
yeah, let's blame Teru. If you don't know what a Dank Meme is, I suggest going on the internet because once you know what a Dank Meme is, the rating is self-explanatory. And then we have the meta rating, which I've decided is a very rare rating I'm going to give only to cards which I think will really pull you into that deck. Like, make you think, wow, I want to play this deck because of this card.
Uh,
Without further ado,
it's
I
definitely
think we can...
gotten rarer over
Yeah, it's got rarer because cards are getting less and less, like, standout.
unique.
They're really, really scared to print broken cards now. Anyway, let's get straight in with the first card. The Mirai Ticket series is one that is in this booster. Hanamaru Kunikita, a 0/0 self-tap brainstorm that Love Live Sunshine players were pretty set on getting. I don't know, the brainstorm itself. When you trigger a climax, choose a character, it gains 2,000 power, and then brainstorm. Pay one, tap this, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and for every climax you find there, search your deck for a waiting. Oh no, that's not what it does at all, is it?
It's
You're a fucking asshole.
I am a little bit of an asshole, aren't I?
You salvage a
Yes,
yellow character for each climax you hit.
yes,
Why?
yeah, that's awkward.
It's super awkward. It's super unnecessary, and there situationally you can make this card work by loading your deck with so many yellow cards. It's like theoretically
Usable.
not that different from using the Rico Brainstorm or just having the really high value cards you want all the time be yellow cards in your deck.
That's this still
it's-
feels awkward because like you didn't
Yeah.
build Sunshine
No,
as a
I-
color locked deck, right? It was just kind of a
No, you didn't. It's like to pander or cater towards a first year deck, which is fine. It's not a super great competitive, widely applicable card, and it's whatever. My theory, my assumption is that by the time Love Live Sunshine set 100 comes out, every character will have at least one brainstorm like the original Love Live. So, like, a tap self plussing brainstorm that isn't awkward is only inevitable.
yeah. My stance on this is yeah, because it wasn't like a color locked deck before, and I don't think it will be moving forward. The old brainstorm was it a salvage anything?
It's salvage anything,
yes.
it's tap 2, and I think both of their second effects are somewhat negligible.
Yeah, I mean this first effect is like the brainstorm plus thing, where its plus is like randomly 2k pump. Is definitely negligible in the vast majority of circumstances. I think personally I'd probably still prefer the tap 2 brainstormer. Yes, it's unfortunate that it's a tap 2, but you know you'd rather be able to salvage anything in all actuality.
So
I
I
would have
think that
preferred to search things.
I mean, yes, that would have been ideal, but like these are what we got.
Kappa.
Kappa.
So you're very right. So that leaves the question: what other cards can tap and therefore make some advantage, get some advantage out of the fact this only taps one? The
Very
first one that
few.
comes to mind is obviously this card. You can double brainstorm if you absolutely have to. And then the second card I think is actually coming up quite soon. It's a bond.
It's a bonder that taps to give power to its bond target. That might be the most applicable thing.
Hmm. Those two plus I suppose the red level X, right? Is that
Yeah, the red level X is a pretty good. I think it's a decent incentive to play this card, but
yeah,
that
but
I could
the
go on
thing
a whole
is,
rant why I wouldn't play them in the same deck.
yeah, like the red level X needs. We'll get to it, but there's a very good reason why you don't want a brainstorm that only interacts with yellow characters. Anyway, this card I think is actually better than some people are giving it credit for, but I wouldn't give it like a high rating or anything. It's just a playable plus, in my opinion.
I think that's fair. I think it's just really, really unfortunate that it not only salvages, but it's color locked.
I mean, the salvaging isn't even that bad if you look at it like Yurikatsuki is yellow and Yurikatskis are going to die because they're 4K power.
Sure.
Like, you can kind of have this super, like, burn through your deck quick plan going forward with this and Yurikatsuki. But that's not really a benefit to this card. That's more of a...
I mean, it's a byproduct playing the Akatsuki.
Well, it's like, that doesn't automatically make this card better than the Rico.
Yeah.
It's just something they both can do.
Yeah.
So it's not singing the highest praises of this card, in my opinion.
All right.
Okay, then. So let's move on to the next card then. Mirai Ticket, Ruby Kurosawa. It's a 3/2/9/5. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may heal one. And when this attacks, give a music character, any music character, X power, where X is 500 times the number of your music characters. So 3/2 on attack gives something probably 2,500.
And he heals. This card feels
It's
very
okay.
lackluster.
So it is lackluster, and somewhere in blue you're going to realize this card is super lackluster. But I mean, if you really wanted to, I think a cool benefit, or not, maybe not benefit, a draw to Sunshine for me initially was there's just a bunch of like tech slot level 3s you can play. And like if your strategy involves reversing, or you just want a random like healer you would play at a 1 or 2 copies, this probably isn't the worst thing in the world.
Sure. I can get behind it as like a one of in decks that need to have the extra 2k pump to blow through something.
Yeah, like I can't really. I guess if you're that dead set on using the new Musashi's Climax combo to get reverses, that's fine. Or if you're building towards the restander from the first set. But other than that, there's not that much late game reversing you need to really do
Yeah.
either. So this card, it's harder to say this card has a role.
Yeah. For me, I'm giving the card a flat playable. It's very uninteresting, and I don't know how relevant the power pump is going to be, but I can absolutely see it as a 1 or 2 of, that tech slot, basically.
This might be your best filler heal. It might, if you're not running the Hanamaru as a game plan from the first set. But
I don't think this is the best filler heal.
yeah, I was about to say there are other cards that you could play in this slot anyway. Regardless, I think playable is probably suitable for this card. It's still a heal, like it can only be so bad, and it does attack as a 12k in the worst case scenario. That's basically an Electron Diva, right?
I mean, like it technically would have 500 more power than Electron Diva. The cool thing about this is, for Ruby fans, this is Ruby's second level 3, so you can have 4 copies of this, a basic ass healer, and 4 copies of a come and play shot trigger, and just have the most boring, uninteresting level 3 ever. That's not a commentary on Ruby. I like Ruby, but like the two, it's just not exciting. It's not a.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If you're excited about Ruby, you need to check yourself before
She's
you wreck
cute.
yourself.
I want to lure her with candy.
That's how you go straight to jail, dude.
No, Chica didn't go to jail. It happened in the show.
Oh, God.
It's canon. Ruby will accept candy
No,
from strangers.
it was definitely not canon. It was Chica.
Ugh.
I am going to destroy my Razor Death Adder Chroma in my hand.
Anyway,
That was so bad. Shoutouts to Razor, purveyor of quality gaming content or quality gaming products.
we're not sponsored by anybody. You can stop.
Well, of course, we're not sponsored by anyone. Now, allow me to take a drink of this delicious Arrowhead water,
It's not even a
established
brand.
1894.
Yeah.
Next card is Mirai Ticket
You
Yoshiko
can taste the mountains.
Tsushima. Tsushima.
Yohane.
That one. Yeah, Chuni girl. She's a 3/2 10k. She's got the Musashi effect, so The turn where she comes to play, when this attacks and has its damage cancelled, mill the top card of your deck and deal X damage to your opponent, where X is that card's level +1. And then it has a climax combo. When Mirai Ticket is placed in the climax zone, this gains 2,000 power, and the following ability: when the battle opponent of this is reversed, you may heal 1. So if I'm not mistaken, Mirai Ticket is not only a gate, but also a wind trigger? Is that right?
Winded Pants.
Wind in
pants.
Yes. Well, that's what I meant. I meant the blue one.
No, I know. I'm just saying it how I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is a Musashi with upside, I suppose.
Yeah, it's fine.
The deck definitely wanted something. Like, Musashi counts as something.
Yeah. Like, I would not be unhappy just jamming this at all.
Like, even... So the way I played Sunshine before is I played the old pants with the Kanon Restander. I didn't really like the Kanon Restander, but I liked pantsing back stock souls and playing like a million stock souls over a game.
Sure.
So at the very least, you can still do that. And you just have these cards that kill people while healing yourself, which sort of seemed like a theme in the first set with the finishers. So I'm not sure if that's just a thing of like Yo did it and Kanon did it, so they made Yohane did it, or if all of that is like on accident, but I kind of like that they're still doing that.
This card specifically, it is playable in every single Love Live Sunshine deck, I think. Aside
It's a
from
Musashi. It will be as bad as a Musashi is.
Yeah, the floor for your
That's
deck
like-
is you don't jam the climax and you have a vanilla Musashi.
And depending on how you choose to build your Sunshine deck, I build my Sunshine decks super top heavy, so you should be burning on average more than like a normal ass deck playing Musashi.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the Gilgamesh coin flip deck, you know, everyone's favorite.
Oh god. I don't know. I'm gonna give the card. It's a good card. Like, I think it's just probably flat. Because like if we gave the Brainstorm playable plus, I think this is better than the Brainstorm.
If
I mean,
you
this is
gave the
it's clearly
healer
just-
playable, this
Yeah.
is not playable. This
This is
is
clearly a good, like, it's a
Yeah.
good card. It has a good effect on it. Then it also has upside in case you want to use the climax combo.
Yeah.
I see no reason we can't give it a good.
Yeah. So I think it's good.
Yep. Next card. Gamba. Is this an actual term they use?
Gamba
in-
Ruby.
Yeah.
There's this super awkward interaction between the characters. So Daya and Ruby are sisters,
Okay.
and they're like, Daya has this like poster board type thing, and she's trying to give a presentation on like the Muse training regimen, and she asks a question to the audience, and then she's like, and then Ruby answers the question, and Daya goes into this like big sister, like, I'm gonna baby my sister, and like praise her so much, and Ruby just after Daya praises her, Ruby just yells Gamba Ruby, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? So
Okay.
yes, sometimes the subs translated as I'll do my Ru bestie, or I did my Ru bestie. I think that's from one of the subs.
That's
Either way,
terrible.
it's pretty amazing.
Anyway.
The bond target, by the way, is the blue double rare. We'll get to it much
Yes,
later.
it is a 1-0 blue climax combo that needs to reverse. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind, because this card also has tap this, choose one of your Mirai Ticket Daya Kurosawa, the bond target, and it gains 2,500 for the turn, which puts it at a very cool, well, probably 9,500, which is
9-5 at least.
yeah.
Hey man, that's actually a key magic number right there. If you're talking about like the old school wall decks, that's enough to
It's a good
cleanly
number.
beat them.
Yeah,
It's a
and
good number.
you're just gonna like beat them because old decks suck.
He's not wrong. Anyway, uh, so if you play that deer, it is possibly worthwhile playing this.
I can see an
But
argument for playing two copies.
the
That's
issue with this is the deer herself, her climax combo wants you to have a whole bunch of level ones in the deck. And your level zero is pretty stacked already. You've got a runner, you've got a
Yeah.
brainstorm, then you've got various you want stuff anyway.
Other utility
I
options.
And
mean, like when I played the Dia, I managed to fit 2 copies of this in my deck and only have like 15, 14 zeros.
hmm
So like it's totally doable. Like one of the boons of this card is like just as an example, I just slot in the Yo level 0 as a starting point for a lot of my decks from the first set because it's a bomb with pay 2 on death salvage because it's just kind of like a tempo thing, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
And this can sort of fulfill a similar role where you're paying 1 stock for a card you really want anyways. So I believe I don't run the Yo anymore in that build and I just play this card instead.
Sure.
That may not be how everyone wants to run Sunshine, but that's how I've incorporated it.
fair enough.
In general, I think the bond target is powerful enough that if I'm running the playset of the Dia, I probably want like 2 copies of the bonder.
I'm just surprised it's not absolutely mind-blowing that a plussing combo is bondable to
I know,
like
right?
a not vanilla bond.
I know, right? On top of it, the combo conveniently is the same climax as the level 3 we just talked about, so that's also a nice plus.
Yeah,
It makes your climax slots more compact. So like I can already imagine myself playing 10, 14 fixed slots playing the level 1 combo.
hmm
Just like locking in
Yeah.
14 cards.
sure.
Yeah. That makes deck building real easy when you know what you're starting from.
Mm,
I definitely
it
agree.
doesn't. It doesn't. Like
I mean, now you have to figure out like making things fit nicely.
like Sunshine's just a lot of choices, I think, which is why I really like it. But starting on 14 cards because you're like, I'm going to play Mirai Ticket, I guess, yeah, that does help your deck building process a bit.
It's like various packages, I guess. And this is functionally the way I see it, like a 14 card package.
Yeah. I also think you're going to be playing like 3 or 4 of the Akatsuki if you're playing this package because the Dia will probably just fill your hand with garbage.
Would not
So
surprise me.
maybe it's an 18 card package.
Maybe. Anyways, as far as this card is concerned, this is just playable, basically.
Yeah.
It might even
I
be
think that
classified as
it's so-
niche.
It's so heavily tied to the deer, you kind of have to call it niche, right?
Like,
I mean, what are you going to give the?
it depends on whether or not
Dia?
you consider the Dia like
Are you going to say the Dia is
the
playable?
right play, right? Like if the Dia is your level 1 combo, this is playable. If the Dia is not the go-to level 1 combo, then this has to be niche.
I think Dire is solely it's debatable.
Right?
I,
But,
I
like,
think there's one really good combo, and then there's reasons you would pick Dia or the old Chica based on how you want to build and play your deck.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, and I think all the combos require like different builds to really
like
emphasize and take advantage of them.
various concessions.
But like, I don't think the Dia is so bad that like you would never play it under any circumstance. It's just more catered to a specific deck type or play style.
hmm
I also don't think that deck or play style is the best deck, but it's whatever.
So
Yep.
I'm still thinking personally I'd give it a playable. I actually do think the package itself seems good enough, but
I think it's playable because that's what I'd give the Dia.
Yeah.
So, like,
so you're sticking with the niche?
Yep.
All right.
I'm sticking with niche because you only play with the Dire. Next card, Mijiku Dreamer, Hanamaru Kunikita. It's a 1025. During your turn, all your other music characters gain 1k. Pretty formidable support if you need to reverse something. And pay 2, tap this. Look it up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, add one of them to your hand, each the other.
I am actually a super big fan of sleight of hand. like in Weiss. I actually really really like it.
Sure.
The ability to add anything is like very good. That said, I don't know if I'm paying 2 stock every turn to do this, but adding climaxes to your hand when you need them is valuable. I actually think the Dia needs to reverse, so I think you would probably play some copies of this by default with the Dia, just even to increase the consistency of getting that combo off. But I don't know how much space you have left if you do that.
I don't think you necessarily have the space
Yeah.
for this, but one of the really interesting things about this card when it was spoiled was I was contemplating how potentially good it it's awkward because I think the cards that could benefit the most from this are the set one Akatsuki and the set one combo. Because if you can make it so your Chica bombs consistently reverse stuff without getting reversed themselves, then them being bombs doesn't really matter, and you can take advantage of them being bombs because your opponent has to run into them now. But like you might only have one of these because you'll probably want your other slot to be a brainstorm or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then your Chica and Rubies are only 5k, and you're still playing a stock soul, so it's like not as cool as I initially imagined.
Sure. I'm gonna give the card a flat playable personally, but that might be a bit high.
Give it like playable minus. I just don't think it has a deck it necessarily goes in right now.
Yeah. I think that's the issue. I can't see a deck which would want this card, and if that's the case with a card, I can't really give it a very good rating, which is, you know. Anyway,
Like, it's just hard to give it niche because it's just very generic
Yeah.
text on it. Like, I
Mhm.
think playable minus is apt.
right. Well, this next card it was an early call for one of the better cards in the set. Mijuku Dreamer, Ruby Kurosawa, it's a 104k. Climax combo, when this attacks, if you have Mijuku Dreamer in the climax zone, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a music character, add it to your hand, otherwise put it back. And when this becomes reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a music character, you may pay 1. If you do, bounce this to your hand. Before we go any further, what's the climax?
It's a split 2k one, you dummy.
Yep, that's
And-
definitely
and-
what I
and
was
a
referring
book.
to.
You dummy.
Yeah,
And
you'll probably want Global Soul on this one, so book is preferable to split 2k1.
Oh shit! It's a 2 soul.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
let's
That's
go!
Oh wow! I'm glad Will didn't actually know.
I didn't,
It's-
man.
It's all 3 of those.
Wait,
to be
it's
clear.
it's whole 3.
There's
Yeah.
It's the two.
three.
What color is the 2 soul? 2 souls in.
yellow.
Yellow.
Oh wait, we're
There's
going in.
Juku, Dreamer, Climaxes, or combos in all colors.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why
We're going
there's
in on
3.
2 soul, right? There's no way you're just not jamming 4 2 souls with this combo, right?
You have to, because that's just kind of like. Well, I guess you don't have to.
You could. I can see
But
an argument for book, but
No, because then you're still just citing a bunch, and that's not good.
exactly. At least
Like-
like 2 souls gotta be the call.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to no one's surprise, you play this with 2 soul.
Nice.
Yeah, so the benefit of the 2 soul is obviously you can side something, still get the full benefit of having to front, and yet you'll even with that you'll get to have a damage buffer. You'll get your what's that? Anyway, you'll have a damage buffer. You'll get the full value out of it, and you'll be plussing regardless. The second benefit is if you hit level 1 first, you can just swing with a 2 soul, and sometimes they eat it, and you win the game. That's variance, that's Weiss, and free wins are great. And yep.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll talk about it later when we hit the other Mijuki Dreamer climaxes combos.
And then there's obviously the other effect, which is pay 1, bounce it. It's a very strong effect. It's just a pay 1 plus. If you hit like it's free pay 1 plus, and it's not even like mandatory or anything. There's no downside to it. And it's notable that even though this is a 104k and therefore an objectively mediocre attacker, the fact of the matter is you have an Azza in this deck. It's in the exact same color, and if you can play the Ruby Kurosawa, you'll most likely be able to play the Yasuo as well, which means you can ditch the 104k and get a better card from the top four, which means any sort of plus, including the Climax combo plus, has its worth increased pretty significantly. All you want is raw cards, because your raw cards become anything from the top four with alarming consistency, and therefore this card is very powerful. It's
How
not as
event
strong.
heavy is Love Live Sunshine? Because I know Love Live historically has been a pretty event heavy set.
I don't know where you. I don't know where that statement came from.
I'm saying that relative to many sets don't play events at all.
I play a single copy of an event in a deck built to really work this card.
Sure.
Generally, I would not try to play more than, I guess, 2 events. Otherwise, you start falling into Symphogear territory. And if you ask your average Symphogear player, they'll tell you how much they hate Ignite modules and they hate their $20 mill runners.
Oh, that's excellent. So you're playing the This Is Computer event or whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That card excites me.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, so the deck I have built for this, it's built with the 1-0 Mari, and it's actually comical how you can go into your own turn after your opponent's turn with like 11 cards in hand. Like,
oh yeah, because you like bounce your entire front row back to your hand.
Yeah, like you don't have to spend resources trying to get these back because you can just spend resources to get them back guaranteed, which is really nice, I think. And it lets you more consistently ride your combo throughout the game. Also, the This Is Computer event and playing Pants to get your 2 souls back. It's a very fluid deck if you can get multiple turns of 2 souls, which I think is how you want to play it until level 3.
That seems good. This card, as far as a combo is concerned, I'm giving it a solid playable plus, maybe a good, just because it combos with 2 soul.
I think it's good.
Like, 2 soul being your climax combo, climax is like huge. I'm gonna give it good.
I definitely think this is a solid good card.
I'm gonna give it the good. 2 soul is like, so good.
I was just so not into playing this card, and then when I actually sat down and tested it, the deck is absolute madness and fun. And there's a lot of intricacies in my build that I really like, and I could talk about that later or not at all. Like, we only have so much time. You could catch that in my podcast if you want to hear me gush about cool stuff Sunshine can do.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Moving forward, though.
Oh
yes, moving forward, we've got our next card. Well, I'd like to say I do the good rating. It is a really strong card. Mijuku Dreamer, Yoshiko Yohane. It's a 1/1/5/5. If the cost of the character opposite is 0 or lower, this does not reverse. So, costless characters cannot reverse this card, which is really neat.
Yes, Tsushima.
Tsushima, yeah. I just have a problem with it for whatever reason.
Yohane. Yo, this card is in Osamatsu, but that doesn't stop this effect from being really funny.
The first time I think we saw this set was Dog Days, right?
No. There's like a similar, like, if your opponent has a cost 0, it gains power into level, but not straight up, cannot be reversed.
Yeah, you're right. Dog Days got huge.
Which is really comical because that means you can just ram your stuff into their slightly bigger costless characters, I guess. They might not be bigger, actually, because this is a 5/5. But also, just if they're playing Tulavru or something, they just literally can't reverse you. They'll be bigger than you, but they can't reverse you.
Yeah. I mean, Tulavru plays an entirely costless level 1 game, so... Well, it's not actually entirely costless because it plays the back row, but...
You can totally get the 1/1 Yami big enough to kill this.
I think her climax pumps other, though, so you need to have, like, 2 in play.
Yeah, you need a Poochie, or, like, a Poochie.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, this is a meta call. If you only have costless characters in your meta, this can put in a lot of work, as usual. It's exactly the same with all of the other versions of this, with the Dog Days one, with the I can't
So
actually. I can't say that.
Simple Gear, Simple Gear has it.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
All of the other equivalents, they can just never die sometimes, and that's obviously really strong because a card that doesn't die is a card that's plussing you every turn.
yeah,
Uh,
but on the flip side, if I guess to play this as like, oh, it's never going to die, that's fine. But if you're playing this to be dank and deny pluses, like deny on reverse combos, that's pretty ballsy because a lot of combos are just shifting towards not even being like on reverse anymore.
Yeah.
And
like a lot of the
like,
on reverse ones, well, particularly the Persona 5 one, does not give a damn about this card.
yeah. And then like if you're playing worthwhile cards to play in a Love Live Sunshine deck, you will have cards they can reverse. Like unless you're an absolute madman and you're like, my game plan is triple Yohane.
But
Like
if that's your
they're going to reverse your good cards, or you're just going to randomly lose to a guy who's like, I play 1/1 beaters. Ooh.
yeah.
And like the Yohanes are just going to be useless once people start playing early plays as well. Like you're not going to be level 1 forever.
Hmm.
Um, I think the card profile in general is niche for me because it's not so much built around me so much as like you need a really good reason to want to put these in your decks.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You do need to have the meta completely scoped out before you can think about playing this.
Yeah.
It is a niche card, niche plus even, but it's like it's not niche in the normal sense. It's just like uh, I don't know how to describe it.
I think it's niche in a more normal sense than how we use niche.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's go with that because that is true. Anyway, so let's move on to the next card. There's actually no rares above level 1. Aim for the Brilliance, Hanamaru Kunakita is a 00500 power character. When another music character is placed from stage to the waiting room, if this is in the back row, you may sack this. If you do, rest that character. Well, put it back rested. So it does actually go to the waiting room, it does actually come back, which means any marked characters or whatever lose their markers.
Yep.
And Bond, Aozora Jumping Heart, Ruby Kurosawa. This is the 2/2 from the
2/2.
original set that people panned, but is actually a perfectly reasonable card in most situations.
It's clock bond. Clock bonds are good.
Yeah, it's a clock bond
Yes.
to the 2/2, which is effectively a 2/1.
Yeah.
Because if you have 4 other music characters, you could stock a music character from your waiting room.
Clock bonds are good. I like clock bonds. I actually appreciate the utility of being able to just like have a field encore in a lot of decks. I don't know if you ever need this though. For instance, if you're playing the Ruby combo, you definitely don't need this.
Well, yeah, but I think as a less serious thing, this can really back up. If because the Ruby Akatsuki has a climax combo to change into the 2/2, this makes that more consistent if you're trying to make a less serious deck built around that combo.
Sure.
Because it's more of a Wally type deck because you're sitting with hexproof 9/5s that if your opponent is a absolute madman and can climb above, this can just sack itself to save it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So
that's
it-
reasonable.
So if you want to play some like mono, if that was your option for mono yellow, or you wanted like some Ruby centric deck, then I think this card can do a lot of work. But because it's the clock bond tied to a 2/2 you wouldn't normally play, you're just not going to see this card.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick to just niche.
Niche.
In this case.
Yeah, seems about right. Next card is Dear Onechan, Ruby Kurosawa. It's a 0015. Global 500 to all other music traits, and up to once per turn when you play Thinking About Each Other, that's a 1/1 blue event. Choose one character, that character gains 1 soul for the turn.
Size heavily.
Yeah. So the 1/1 event is the centerpiece of a little engine they're trying to introduce with this booster, which involves several cards that all do something with that event. There is a specific searcher for the event. There is a bonder for the event. There are cards which give, well, like this one that gives soul with the event, and there are cards which become advanced summons with the event.
So it's everyone loves Nisekoi. Everyone remembers Nisekoi. Nisekoi is like a guy you bring to a party and everyone's excited to see. Everyone's like, "Hey, Nisekoi." This is like a really bad Nisekoi. This is like Nisekoi after he partied a little too hard and no one wanted to be around him anymore. It
I think
feels
I just checked what the event did because I actually did not know.
and to be less comical about it. The event itself is not very good, and the payoffs are just worse compared to Nisekoi because they wanted something similar to Nisekoi, and I think them doing this event engine this time around is them fixing Nisekoi because like nothing is really as good as Nisekoi, if that makes sense.
At kind of abusing that event sequence engine
Yeah,
kind of
so
thing.
so like it's more of a thing of like this shouldn't be like Nisekoi because they printed Nisekoi already. It's like this is with their knowledge of what they did to their own game. This is probably more in line with the power level they wanted at the time. That's just sort of a theory.
Sure. Due to the whole engine, I'm probably gonna give it a niche rating. I mean, that's where it is. You're jamming the event and trying to get value from it, extra value rather.
Yeah, this is probably one of the better cards, honestly.
The soul pump is nice. Like I like being able to randomly soul pump.
Like so the pinnacle of payoff is probably the early play,
Yeah.
which we'll get to when we get to. And then there's a bunch of other cards that are just not really good enough at all, but are kind of like, hey, remember that event thing we're pushing? You could play this with your early play to make the early play seem better. Like, it just feels very inorganic.
Sure. Yeah, it's a niche card. I think the whole engine is probably niche.
I actually
Yeah,
think this is not a good one. I think this is like niche minus, but that's just me.
yeah. There's just no real good payoff, and we could talk about that later because all the payoffs in blue, I think,
And
Hmm.
probably.
like are like the rest of the
Yeah.
payoff. Obviously, this is not a blue card.
Already.
Yes. So the next card is Tear of the Fallen Angel, Yoshiko Tsushima. She's a 0035. You cannot play events or backups from hand, so that's you cannot. And then the character opposite this cannot run.
It's a 3/5 anti-runner with some downside to make it big.
This is actually quite good.
Yep.
Yeah. UA Paying from our sponsor who gives us a lot of money, Strictly Broken, really likes this card. It's something I haven't really tested because I kind of made all my initial tests before I saw him talk about this card. But it's something I have thought about just because anti-run is very powerful. Because denying pluses, like denying the earlier you deny pluses, the better it is, I guess,
Yeah.
is a way of putting it.
Also, like the downside can be relevant, but you're only probably playing one or two of the event most, anyways. In depending on the version you're playing in.
Yeah, like it probably doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, it's probably
'cause
not
the event
being super
isn't
relevant.
the event is like a failsafe more than a
Yeah, more than the
primary
game plan.
thing.
So being oversized also just means, in general, it can get pluses that way. There's kind of a joke now that like 3K is the new oversized at level 0, but 3.5 is actually oversized, so you have that
Yeah.
going for it.
Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good card in that, well, runners are something that a lot of decks kind of rely on these days, and this completely counters those. It can I guess, put a theoretical wrench in their plans. Uh, as to whether or not this is actually worth running, that's a completely different question. It's It's fine. It's 3-5. It'll probably survive. And it does kill pretty much every runner. But if your opponent's playing bombs, obviously this does not plus you in any way. And this could have been a runner. Because I'm sure, like everyone said, there's a runner in this set, and it's just like a solid card.
Yeah.
I'm of the personal stance that it's better to build your own advantage than deny your opponent's advantage the vast majority of times.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing about cards like this, and kind of why wall decks have fallen out of favor.
Yeah, it's just like it's too hard to consistently deny your opponent advantage with those kind of decks. Like the only real exception I ever made to this strategy was playing like Index, but that's because Index literally got its advantage in part using their ability to deny advantage because like it let them abuse their engine a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like you're using cards to deny your opponent cards while also building yourself real card advantage. So it's a little bit different in the context of Index. So that's my personal mentality. There is a runner in the set, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
from the
there's a
set.
mill runner from the first set.
So you're probably more likely to just want to play your mill runners than this, however much that
Yeah, of
might pain a
course.
person.
I mean, you definitely played a runner before you played this, unless, well, I'm sure someone in Japan has
I mean,
objections.
it's an approach. It's like a gameplay approach thing, right? If your whole game hinges on denying your opponent advantage, then like this is probably a better play to go. Um, as a fun aside, it does force your opponent to play extra tight because they cannot rearrange their field with the card that's put in front of this, and that can be relevant. People do make mistakes against these kind of cards, and that can be worth it sometimes.
Sometimes. I still think this is a perfectly reasonable card to put in your deck, but I really hope you've maxed out on runners before you go to this card. Um,
I'm sticking the playable.
Yeah.
It's a flat playable card for me.
your level 0
Yeah.
slots are really valuable in this deck. Not only do you want to have like your levels slanted towards the higher levels, but you do want to use your level 0s for utility and color fixing. So the fact there's a yellow runner really cuts this down from being like a playable plus or whatever. It's just a playable to me.
Yeah. All right. Moving onward.
All right. Uh, today's
God.
Ultimate Ragnarok, Yoshiko Tsushima. So this is my least favorite card in the set. When this is placed from stage to hand, from hand to stage, you play rock paper scissors with your opponent until someone wins. If you lose, all your other characters gain 2,000 power.
If you lose,
Yes, that's a flavor thing because she lost in this scene in the anime, I assume.
whatever.
She
And then
she does this weird thing with her hand, this like chuny shit when she plays rock paper scissors.
so she always throws scissors.
I don't know if that's the joke, but so she and Hanamaru went to like primary school together, and Hanamaru sees her again in high school and is like, "Is that Yoshiko?" And she just walks up to her and does rock paper scissors, and Yohane throws the weird scissors, and Hanamaru's like, "I fucking knew it."
Okay.
Alright. The other ability on this card, this 215k, is that it is an anti-change stock bomb. This automatically makes it playable plus. It's verging on good minus already. But I want to get on my soapbox a little here. The first ability, the rock paper scissors thing,
50-50.
complete garbage.
It's a 50-50. You might as well reflip a coin.
Why is there a 50-50? Like, why is this in the game? Why is
Pokemon.
there... Pokemon is coin flips, not rock paper scissors.
I
That's
know.
the other little issue. But basically, there's no risk to you as the player. You have no penalty for losing this game.
No, for
this
winning the
rather.
game.
You have no penalty for failing this mini game. In this case, to win is to lose. Something philosophical musings.
Oh my god.
But if you win this little mini game, your entire field gets a very sizable power pump, like an extremely sizable one. 2,000 to everything is very relevant. And then if you lose, you get nothing, but your opponent isn't rewarded for winning this stupid mini game. There's no
Losing.
opportunity cost. It's just whatever. There is no.
There's absolutely no risk to the opponent other than maybe a slight loss of morale for losing at rock, paper, scissors. Oh no, whatever would we do? But point is, this card is all upside, pretending to not be all upside. And I really dislike that. I really dislike the fact that this isn't like a risk. This should have been you may play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins the mini game, like whoever loses, I suppose.
Their team gets pumped.
Exactly. And like that's not even a bad thing with this card. This is an anti-change bomb. You don't really care if your opponent gets buffed. That wouldn't even be bad design. But instead we have this garbage, and I'm done with my soapbox. I think the design of this card is trash. I think this is a good minus card for several reasons, including Vivid Strike.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. This should be a fixture in your Love Live Sunshine deck if you want to deal with the advanced summon metagame.
As an aside, Rock Paper Scissors is a 50-50 game if you play until someone wins. So it's literally a coin flip.
Yes, but if there is a mind game or a meta game of rock, paper, scissors between you and your opponent, such as in the anime, where etc., etc.
Hashtag 20XX.
I'm not playing Weiss to play rock, paper, scissors. This is what a friend of mine told me. I'm not playing this game to be tested in rock, paper, scissors. Why should I have this garbage thrown on me when, like, there's no downside to being good at rock, paper, scissors here. But there's no upside for the opponent either. It's stupid.
Hashtag 20XX.
Yeah.
All right.
So, as a thing, I don't know how big the Vivid Strike shit gets. But I try to build with the 2/1 Chica instead of this card in my builds because I've kind of gotten over anti-change bombs. I'm just at a point where I prefer these like 2/1s that gain 6k power because I like retaining the field slot.
I mean, versus Vivid Strike and versus some other decks like for example ReZero, you often do need to have something like this anti-change bomb simply because they can just counter a lot of the instances.
Sure, if they play counters, which I guess they do.
I mean, they get enough for it to matter. They should be playing counters.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm very turned off by the RPS thing. Like more on the thing your friend said, where I just don't want to play rock paper scissors. Like I think it's kind of stupid. I see where it works in context to the scene on the card, and like her as a character, and I like that kind of stuff in Weiss. But I just don't like how it's turned into this thing that kind of like pauses gameplay and then only has benefits to you. Kind of like what you said.
Yeah, I just object to this design. It is very poor design, and it is honestly wasted flavor. But it's still like a really solid card.
Yeah, like it's still an anti-change bomb, which is...
If this was like a 2/1 8k piece of garbage, I wouldn't care as much because you'd never play this. But this is a playable card, and that's the really irritating bit.
Yeah, if this was just like a 2/1 8k play rock paper scissors, you might get powered. No one would care.
I mean, I'd still care because it's terrible game design, but
no,
I
yeah, but
wouldn't care
like
enough.
it wouldn't. Like, I don't think that's a good enough card to play. In when I say like no one would care.
Speaking of cards not good enough to play, along with everyone, Hanamaru Kunikita. It's a 3/2 10k. During your turn, for each of your other music characters, this gets 500 power. And when this is placed from hand to stage, you look it up to X cards from the top of your deck, choose up to one of them, and put it in your hand, where X is the number of music characters you have.
Yeah,
This is good enough to play.
It's fine.
Is this good enough to play?
If you need to find a climax, this does that.
Like,
is this good enough to play?
I can see a one of.
With the way that I like to build my decks where they're more teched out, I appreciate the additional reach. I can totally understand if someone isn't playing it. I don't think it's like the end-all be-all you need to play it. I just like it.
I think it's reasonable. I don't know if you really need or want to play this. You have other tech cards anyway. Like, Okay, sure. If you're digging for a climax, then that's something. But of the climaxes in the sets, the only ones at level 3 that are any good whatsoever are like what? There's Yo, I suppose. Uh, I guess there's the Yoshiko Musashi. I'm not a big fan of that card personally. Anyway,
Like it's not an exciting card. It's nothing great. I like it though. That's just sort of where I am.
I
Yeah.
think sticking it at just flat playable is fine.
Yeah, playables.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I personally would play it. That's the thing.
I think playables like
And that's
what we're.
fine. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think a lot of playable cards like you don't play. I think a lot of good cards are like you play this without really
you should play these. but-
yeah. Playable is like what you're filling your deck out with. Isn't that kind of what you said?
And I think this is where it sits. It's a card that I'm not unhappy throwing into a deck if I need to find a climax at level 3. Which
Or
is the
just
point.
like yeah, like there are builds that can use it, there are builds that can't use it. Like it's fine.
Well, apparently cut everyone off, but yeah, no, that seems fine. Playable's a fine rating for that card. Aim for the Brilliance, Yoshiko Tsushima, is a 1/04K. When another music
Jeez. There.
Bad.
Yeah.
what can I say? This is a 1/07K if you attack with it last. It is character on the next turn if that is what you wish. I don't think this is what the deck wants. I could be one. I don't know. It seems like a very easy one already.
All right. So
Yeah,
if you didn't
I'm
get it,
sure-
you went full
Did I
robot.
just disconnect or something?
And you're kind of like you're kind of like Skynet, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It's like full robot.
Maybe there's some technical issues, but regardless,
Did he?
I can't tell if he disconnected or if he just had nothing to say after. Regardless.
I know, right? Anyways,
being just 7K in
Oh,
today's
God, he
world
did have
sometimes
something
doesn't
to
force
say.
a counter. So you need to pump it up, and if you're going to do that, you may as well, like, if that's what you want to do, then I'm not really sure you should be playing.
I think the card's bad.
I think the card is bad. 107K on offense is just not great.
I think there's better ways to reach similar thresholds.
You guys go on for a sec. There might
Yeah.
be an issue on my end.
I'll read the cards until you're feeling
Anyways,
better.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say bad. If you're playing this card, like it's just not a good filler.
Yeah, there's just better kind of beaters, I guess, but Sunshine's not really a beater set.
No, not in a little bit.
Aim for the Brilliance, Ruby Kurosawa. It is a 2/1 backup with backup plus 3k power. And when you use the backup of this, put the top X cards of your opponent's library into the waiting room. X equals your number of music characters.
You mill your opponent?
You mill your opponent.
That's arbitrary as hell. It doesn't mean anything. This is basically just a 2-1 vanilla counter. Historically speaking, milling your opponent doesn't do anything. Statistically speaking.
I mean, I think the best thing you can hope to achieve with this card is like your opponent is attacking in a very specific way where they're like, I'm going to end attacking on 1 and refresh with the climax I played or something.
Sure.
And you can mess with them. But I don't think that's like amazing.
Well, it's a mandatory your opponent mills.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not
It's
like
actually really funny if they're at 3/6 and
Yeah,
they have
I
like
mean,
really
then
few
it
cards in deck.
it kills them, which is
Like-
hilarious. But traditionally speaking, these kind of effects where your opponent mills, they don't do anything.
Yeah, there's very specific circumstances where you're like, oh, that'd be super nice to mill my opponent, but it's so out of your control because it's
Your
Weiss
opponent.
and it's your opponent. But so it in that light though, you can just play it as a 3k counter that sometimes actually has an impact.
Yeah, I mean, like there is a floor where the mill like actively helps them.
Yeah,
Like-
they
like
they
they-
mill 5.
They mill 5
Like-
damage and then they trigger no climaxes and they have like 10 cards left in deck or something.
Yeah.
It all evens out to nothing, though. Like it's
Yeah.
not a card that you should ever rely on doing anything.
Yeah, like if you want a punch, like you might just be better off with the 2-1 Chica 3-5 punch.
Yeah, I would probably take the bigger punch because the first effect doesn't do anything.
I don't
I mean,
have
people will
that
get
card
cute.
though.
Like, people are going to get cute and say that, oh, but this one time I milled 3 climaxes from my opponent
Hey, man.
on the last attack of their turn, and I won the game because that would have been triple cancel
Hey,
and
man.
la-di-da.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's more or less what we've been saying.
Cool.
These 4 times I beat elves with Death and Taxes, so it's got to be a favorable matchup for Death and Taxes.
That's a rough one.
I don't even know
Okay.
how I did it.
Uh,
This card is like
you're a master.
this card is like playable minus, or actually,
it's
It's as
just,
playable as a punches.
but I
it's
don't
a-
know. Like
yeah.
I don't think 3K counters are like ever when I wouldn't be playing in a deck unless I need to be paying out stock for whatever reason.
you play
if
them in
you-
like gate decks.
If you
Yeah.
go like towards, if you want to build towards trying to wall up with the Hanamaru early plays from the first set, you want punches.
Sure.
Generally, I don't play
Wouldn't you
Sunshine
prefer
with punches in mind.
The 2-1-3-5 counter in those cases, anyways, for the extra 5.
That as well, but just to refute your thing about punches,
Sure.
not necessarily defending this card.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just talking about, like, my stance is, like, if you have something that gives more power than a vanilla punch, you're usually better off playing it unless the secondary effect is worthwhile, and the secondary effect just isn't.
This could have been a Leafa punch.
And that would have been playable plus.
All right.
I don't know.
Leafa punch is not really that much. Anyway,
It's meta plus honestly.
Exactly.
okay. Next card, Encounter with the Future, Hanamaru Kunikida. It's a 2/1/7K. If there are 3 or fewer climaxes in your opponent's waiting room, this gets -1 level in hand. And for each of your other level 0 or lower characters, gets 1k. So it's a advanced summon of sorts. It's like it's a 1/1, probably 8 or 9k,
It's like
which is
Garbage.
I love this. I just love this effect because it makes me all warm and fuzzy thinking about Phantom.
Oh, sure.
Because
Sorry,
the
the first thing that
Phantom
came to my
early
mind
play
was-
functions similarly.
The first thing that came to my mind was Devil Survivor, but that's just me.
this card isn't actually bad. Like it. So the first clause, after playing with the Dalsednio version of this, it's not actually very difficult to get off. And when it's on the field, it's a sticky 2/1. It's a sticky 9k that probably won't die, and it is just a solid card. I think this is more worth putting a stock into than the 1/1 Yoshiko that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that card is necessarily something you start in the deck.
And I agree. I agree with the
This
sentiment.
card is better than people give it credit for. I still don't know whether I'd play more than like
One.
2 of it ever.
It's just a weird common, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
weird commons in Weiss that are like, you could build a deck with this, but why would you?
So,
But I don't think it's like. I think this is a very reasonable card. I wouldn't laugh at you for having this in your deck. Whereas if you had like the 1/0 Yoshiko we just talked about, that's just not a good card.
sure.
Mm.
All right.
Right. Next card.
Ooh, ooh.
I like the flavor text.
Orega Hasokon. So
This-
this is.
This is one of the most infuriating scenes from the anime.
Like, define
This is-
infuriating.
Cuter.
So she's never really seen a computer before, I guess, or at least not up close. Oh god, I think she lives at a shrine,
Okay.
and she just isn't around technology that much because of it. So then one of them has a laptop or whatever, and they're like checking their ranking on the Love Live website or whatever. And then she just like gets entranced by the computer, and she just stares at the power button. And while everyone is talking, she just presses the power button and turns off the laptop. And something about watching that is so infuriating to me. She also says Zero when she does it, which is kind of her thing. That's her meme. So I think that makes it worse for me.
The flavor text is this the thing called internet that connects to the sea of knowledge? Apparently.
Yeah.
that's-
Encyclopedia Dramatica is the sea of knowledge.
I mean, it's a sea of
Forced
something.
character traits are cute. The actual card is a 1/0 event that says, choose one of your characters and put it in the waiting room. If so, search your deck for up to one climax card, add it to your hand. I mean,
In
the
the
whole
best
bit where
in the absolute best case scenario with this card, you are sacking a character that you are going to play over, or maybe even something like a runner that you've gained enough value off of. You are getting your 2 soul, you are playing 3 rubies, and you are proceeding to win the game.
Yeah. I appreciate
that
that entire
still
sequence.
doesn't necessarily mean this is a card you play.
I
The
I like
upside
having
is really
one.
up.
I am playing
I
one
don't.
because I think having a 5th copy, if you are super dependent on a climax, I feel like playing this as like a 5th copy of that climax, sort of. There are situations where you could play this where there's no climax in your deck, but I think that's good enough, and I think that having the 1 copy of this card is not harmful. If someone is playing like 4 copies of this card, that's
That's too much.
just bad deck building.
I'm pretty sure the inherent neg from this, and the fact that there is no particularly guaranteed combo in Love Live other than the cheek, I suppose, even that's not very guaranteed, makes it so this is a really risky proposition. You are straight negging, which means you have to make all the value back, which means you're going to have to plus 3 times off your rubies. You might
But then,
do it,
but then the rubies, unless you're a monster and you reveal 3 climaxes off of the rubies getting reversed, you could just plus those back to your hand.
yeah, but the thing is, you're like 2 pluses from the rubies, or rather like 1 plus because you play a climax, has only made you break even. Like, you're not getting anything out of it. So you need all 3 to hit, or you need to start spending stock to bounce the rubies back to your hand in order to really have like anything and have progress the game. And yeah, I get that playing a 2 soul is progress in the game. You're pushing your opponent, but it's not as if Ruby is much of an obstacle. They're just going to run you over, and then the next turn, maybe you do it all again, but you're not really getting advantage from this, I suppose.
I guess.
I mean, it's not card advantage.
Maybe I'm
It's,
biased because I've played this card and it's done really good things. Like,
I like
I-
having an extra level of consistency personally. I think it's worth being able to jam a 5th copy of a climax if that's what you think you need. And I do think if you're jamming 2 souls, it's worth it.
I just don't know what else you're doing if you're not playing the 2 souls. Like, that's why I think having this in my deck is a good thing.
Yeah, and I agree.
This card is perfectly playable, I suppose. I really dislike that you have to neg yourself to do anything with it, though.
Then don't put it in your deck. Like, I'm not saying it has to go in every deck, but I've played it and it's done good things for me. I also play these stupid level 0s that replace themselves when they die. So like you can be cute, you can be cute and sack those.
Sure.
Like,
I'm sure there are ways to mitigate that downside, but
I mean, if you're playing the bomb, for
It's really
instance,
heavy.
like you can pay 3 stock to
you
pay 2 stock to mitigate the loss.
or you play the Dia that you clock to draw, which is kind of shitty, but it's whatever. Like, you mitigate the downside by getting the 2 soul and proceeding to win the game. It's very easy. You find that 2 soul and your opponent just extends their hand out to you, and you're like, oh yeah, free money.
you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I play LB.
Yeah, and how shitty is that when you don't get your 2 soul?
Like, really bad.
Fine. Not great.
And like,
Anyway,
this deck has way more tools than LB does to like get away with sacking a character.
I suppose so, but like, I'm not saying I wouldn't play this in LB. I probably would. I'm just
Yeah, so
saying
then
that
what's the problem here?
because I do want to say this is a card with a lot of downside. That's all.
It does have downside,
Yeah,
but that's
It
totally
has
fair.
downside, but I think getting your combo is that important in the Ruby deck that I play this.
Sure, that's reasoning I can accept. All right. Next card is Mirai Ticket, Riko Sakurauchi. Sakurauchi. Yeah, we're on to red, by the way.
Kurouchi.
So she's a 2/1 level assist. She's got the ability, discard a card, tap this, reveal the top card of your deck, and choose a level X or lower character in your waiting room, add it to your hand, where X is the level of the revealed card. This is a deceptively powerful effect. Like, not only do you get to top check, you get to hand fix, and it doesn't cost you any stock. That's really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
not only does, like, there is a card in 2 cards time which really, really appreciates the top check, and then this card also buffs that card. It's a very, very serviceable card. Uh, I think this is a fine card, even if it weren't part of the advanced summon condition that we're about to talk about.
Yeah, but because it's a shitty advanced summon condition, you play like 3 of this card. Ooh.
That's fine. Like, I'm still giving this a playable plus. It's a solid card, regardless of anything else.
I just don't think I've unironically played 3 level assists in years. And even then, that was probably just like bad deck building.
Well, I'm sure you played 4 with Zero Note Skyma.
Yeah, but like I'm playing Zero no Tsukaima ironically.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because I'm playing
Look,
it
this-
after Contact comes out.
Yeah.
This card is playable plus. Next card is Mirai Ticket Chika Takami. She is a 3/2. Her advanced summon condition is to have the Rico that we just talked about in your clock.
Woo!
And if you have
Yeah.
that, it comes down one level early and has, when this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay 1. If you do, choose the next level 3 we're about to talk about from your waiting room and put it on any slot on stage.
Oh, this is the
So it
combo I
kind-
saw Mike Chang playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this discounts another level 3, brings a friend, and it costs less.
You know what? Let's
And
just
the friend
judge
is
them together
a
because
perfectly
it's
reasonable card.
right here.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
talk about the next card actually, because now that we've mentioned all Chica's effects, we have basically learned everything we need to know about it. This next card, Yo, is a 3/2 10k. It gives 2k to all of your other Mirai Ticket Chica, which means Chica's now at 12k. And Yo also has the on attack reveal top card of your deck. If it's a music character, deal X damage to your opponent, where X is the level of the character revealed. And this is why I say the level support is very helpful for the Yo. Not only does it put it to a far less pathetic 11.5k, it also means that you can get some extra damage out of it by top checking appropriately. If you top check into something like a level 0 or Climax, you obviously just either brainstorm or something, or you attack with Chica or something first. And then you can hit them
Okay.
with Yo and hopefully burn.
Okay. Let me tell you losers why this fedora-wearing bitch is your new overlord. First of all, the double early play is actually the nuts because like it's efficient and you're playing
You're paying
2 early plays.
You're paying 3 stock for 4 soul.
And like one of those characters is just going to burn a lot. But Butts and Coconuts, half my deck is level 0s because I'm fucking retarded. You're right, you are fucking retarded. Because if you're building Sunshine right and you're building a top heavy, not only should you have more burn targets, but you're going to be burning for higher numbers more often. That's the idea. Also, if you're playing the 1-0 Mari like a good player, she just scries on play and then top checks when she dies.
Yep.
That same interaction is there with the Ruby. That top checks when she dies. So even if you don't have a way in your main phase to look at the top card of your deck, you can just ram these things in and see if you want to attack with Yo second or third.
All of that is true.
That being said, if you're playing the Ruby combo, I wouldn't advise trying to work out the early play for a number of logistical reasons, but playing this card just as like a level 3 is really good.
I think this is like, this combo is the build around for Love Live Sunshine. It is good, I think.
My advice to people who want to play this combo is that it works best with Chica, because Chica ends up being your only selective advantage. You probably want 2 of the Ricos in your hand so you can play it to make your early plays not die.
And then clock it.
And yeah, and then you have a stock soul so you can hide the yo in your stock, so you don't have to worry about like, man, I hope I can mill it after I refresh. Because something I tried doing with, I believe, I tried it with the other combos where I just played 3-2-1 and 4 of both 3-2s, and my god, that was horrendous. But it was the only way I felt like I could consistently hope to get off the early play, and some games I didn't early play, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? That's just a little aside. Like, if you're super lucky, or if you play like super ahead and you just try to hold Exodia in your hand for most of the game, then you could probably pull it off.
I think the whole package is absolutely good, and I'm going to give it good.
I like the little trick with the stock soul that you mentioned. That's pretty cute.
I think it's necessary just because, like, it's harder to get it in the grave otherwise. Like, unless you want to be playing your early plays pre-refresh.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it just happens to be 4 stock to play a 2-1 Rico, play a Chica, and then pay out for the Yo. So,
Which just happens to work out, hey? Plus, also is costless. Yeah, I think this is actually good meta. This is what you want to be doing in Love Live Sunshine, and you should be trying to warp your deck to work around it. That's actually how strong and simple I think it is.
Yeah. I also, like, I don't think I made this clear when I was talking about double early play being good, but this can also sort of offset the tempo loss that people typically complain that Chica gives you. Because, like, you make your if you are forced to run your Chicas into their characters and use the Chicas as honest bombs, then your opponent just gets more opportunity to do damage on their next turn. But then once you start dropping your early plays compared to them, not only does one of your early plays burn, but you're playing 2 early plays, so that should just be a higher average damage if they're only playing 1 early play.
Yeah, I agree with that. 2 early plays is a lot harder to answer than 1, and even when one of them, like, what they're gonna bomb the Yo, because, like, if they get rid of the Yo, Chica becomes a 10k. That's kind of sad. But even then, you have a 10k left over, and that's not nothing. That's still more than reasonable against a lot of sets that can only field 1 early play, or can only manage to have 1 massive lane. And it's not like you can't just play another Chica the next turn if that does end up happening. And that's certainly something that could happen.
What are they gonna do? Double ghost punch you?
Best case scenario, you don't get anti-changed, both these cards survive, and then you have you've got a level X on the field, you've got a 13-5 and an 11-5, and the 11-5 keeps burning them in the face. And that's super good. Not like broken, but definitely super good.
Yeah.
Alright. Move on.
Like
Next card. Yeah, let it go down the history books. He likes fedoras.
God damn it. Do not put that in the archive.
Too late, buddy.
It's too late.
Juku Dreamer, Yo Watanabe. When this is placed from hand stage, mill 2. If you this gains X power, where X is the number of music characters milled this way. So it's like a 4-5 on offense and then a 2-5 on defense. 2-5 is actually big enough to survive against a lot of
runner.
things. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's just skip it all. You have a runner. There's no reason for you to play this. Milling 2 is inconsequential in a deck with Azza. There's not really a reason for you to play this. If you're playing this, it's because you're playing either Yo Waifu or because... Wow, Yo Waifu sounds really weird. Either you're playing a Yo Waifu deck or you are just... What are you doing?
Nothing.
Stop.
Alright, so this next card...
Playable minus.
Nah, this card just sucks. Fuck this card.
It's playable minus, man.
No, what
Mijuku Dreamer?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I just
this
gave
card
it bad and called it a
blows
day.
my fucking mind. This
oh,
card
this
blows
Chica.
my mind.
This card does blows my mind too, just reading it. But
I can't believe it's so bad. Why
I know,
is it so
right?
It's like Yuki from your grave.
That's just so bad.
It's like Yuki, except you can't search anything at all.
Except
and
you can't search
salvage
more
anything.
Yukis.
This is so bad. It's like a 1035 for each of your other music characters, 500 power. Cool. That's like a 5-5. That's not too bad. Climax combo.
pay 1, ditch 2. Oh, this better be good, right?
Oh god.
When this
damn it.
tapped, if Mijuku Dreamer is in the climax zone, so again, those are the Ruby climaxes, I think, right?
Yeah, Majuka
Uh,
Dreamers.
you may pay cost. If you do, choose
Up to
up
3.
to 3 blue characters in
All
your
right.
waiting room.
That's
And
the
no,
kicker.
like-
That's the kicker. That's the kick straight to the balls right there. Not only is it blue, but it's also only waiting room.
Okay, but if it was pay 1, pitch 2, search 3, that would be like really stupid.
It would be broken. But like, as an aside, I can only imagine how torn apart your balls will be if you're playing against a deck with anti-salvage.
Minus 9 soul.
But it's like, let's say you're playing against Broske, right? You gotta ditch 3 cards, dude.
No, you have to ditch 6.
Oh, no, you're ditching 5, because you're ditching 2 for the effect and another 3 for each
Yeah,
salvage.
your net
Or
gain
1 for each
is
salvage.
-5 cards.
No,
Yeah.
you're ditching 2 for each salvage, so
Is it 2? I thought it was ditch 1.
it's
Well,
a
it is
neg
ditch-
2 instead of a plus.
Yeah, well, no, it's just a -1 instead of a plus.
Sure.
Yeah,
Regardless.
but you lose 2 cards. It's neg 1 overall because you gain 1
Yeah,
card.
yeah, but
and
if
lose
you
1.
if you count the 3 blue cards you get back, if you just pitch those right away, then you only pitch 3 other cards.
I mean, sure, that's
Plus the
fair
2
enough.
you initially pitched.
Oh my
So you
god.
should have about 0 cards in hand if you play this against Little Busters and you don't know what Little Busters does, which wouldn't surprise me.
Anyways.
No one plays Little Busters.
Anyways, I think this combo is garbage.
Garbage is very kind. Like,
I just remember seeing this when it got spoiled, and I had a lot of weird thoughts about it. My first thought was I actually thought it was a back row because it had 3,500 power,
Oh, yeah.
and I thought it was like on play, do the thing, which is still bad, but that's kind of funny because the other reason I thought it was a back row because I thought they were going to push the like multi combo thing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
none of that matters because it's still like because if it was a back row, it's like here's your red back row to go with your yellow good card. I hope you have 3 blue characters you also want to salvage.
there's no shortage of, like, decent blue characters that you can theoretically salvage and not feel bad about.
Yeah, you could get 3
Uh,
Maris.
Yes, you could get 3 Maris. That is
Or you could get a couple of level 3s that you won't play for like a few
Ever.
turns. Like
Mm-hmm. But all in all, it's asking way too much and gives you way too little. I would not give this the time of day.
No.
3 Maris is extremely powerful. Mr. Way Too Little.
Okay, but you've put these cards in your deck. Are you still feeling extremely powerful?
No.
I mean, powerful is subjective.
Question mark.
Strength is subjective.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
I think this is actually bad. Like, if this is a card you're playing in your deck is really bad, and it's not doing anything that you want your deck to do. Good luck to the Brewers out there. You have a really bad card to break.
It just makes me think of the Idolmaster one from the movie set.
Doesn't that one need you to get 1 of each color though? That's better than getting 3 blue cards.
Is it
agree.
I think it
Like,
is. I
Just
definitely
card
think
3
it is.
search? It's search 4.
I definitely think it's better.
But I run 0 yellow cards, and I don't want to run yellow cards to make that card a thing.
Play like 2 Kotoris or something.
Oh, you have to discard 3 characters for that card? Jesus Christ.
But it's like a super version of Yuki. It's like a super version of your Konosuba thing.
I'm sorry. Did you mean New Sal?
Yes, I meant USAO.
Anyways, moving onward.
Did you ever do Konosuba Blue?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Did we?
Thank
I believe
God.
it.
I think we did.
Whatever. Anyway,
If we
next
didn't,
card.
I
Aim
mean,
for the
we're
brilliance.
sorry.
Aim for the brilliance. Yo Watanabe, 216k. For each of your other music characters, this gains 1k. And pay 1 at the start of your opponent's attack phase. You may pay cost. if you do, swap this with a Rico on your field.
Yeah, so you can put the 2/1 support in the front row. It's pretty hype.
So I think the goal is to summon the Rico that's like there's a stupid marker thing with a 2/2 Rico, I think it is.
Yeah.
Or 2/1, I'm not sure. It has 2 soul regardless. And this card's supposed to play with that card, and then you have 2 fatties on the field, and hopefully they just keep bashing. But that deck is kind of silly. I don't know how well it plays. I'm willing to give it the benefit of the
No,
doubt,
no,
but
no. It doesn't matter how well it plays. It doesn't matter how well it plays because if you got to this position anyways, why aren't you just playing the early plays?
Because you want to make
you're
a
playing
second-year deck?
Yeah, you could be playing the dedicated second year's deck. That's what I was going to say.
Okay, so that means niche.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
then I realized that the entire early play package is also the second years. So
Then we have a problem. We're back to the original question.
You're poor.
I mean,
because those. Wait, let me look up Sunshine prices. I bought a playset, so I never actually looked them up.
all right. Look, this card is like niche. It's a field swap, but very limited, and that makes it much weaker than just the universal field swap. We can move on, and we can talk about this a bit more when we get to the Rico. The next card is a Rico, but it's not the Rico that we're looking for. It is a 3/2 10k. When this is placed from hand to stage, it gains X power, where X is 500 times the number of music characters you have, 12/5 for a turn. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may rest one of your standing characters. If you do, your opponent chooses a climax in their waiting room, and then returns all other cards in their waiting room except that climax to the deck and shuffles. And then it has some other ability. You can discard a card from your hand to choose a character, give it 2,500 for the turn.
That's a startup.
Okay, do you want to
Yes.
spend 9,000 yen on the early play package, or do you want to spend like 500 yen?
Is
for
it
the...
really like $90 for that package?
Yeah, because they're all double rares.
Jesus Christ. That's
There you go.
insane. Whatever.
Have
So
you
this
read
Rico-
those cards?
I mean, I have. They're insane.
I mean,
But I could
the
buy
Olympic
I could buy a
package
Tarmogoyf for
is-
that.
Yeah, you could. The early play
So-
package is not a bunch of broken cards, it's a bunch of synergistic cards, but I digress. This Rico, it has one use, I think, and that use is to make the Canon Restander from the first set not a joke.
Sure.
I don't even think that's a good use of this card.
I actually don't mind the second
decompressing them by
effect.
one is not actually that big a deal.
It
unless
depends.
they've
It
spent
depends on what
crap
the state of the
tons.
game is looking like. If they've like
It's-
managed to like mill a lot of damage, and they only have like 1 or 2 climaxes in the yard, then this effect is worthwhile.
I always make the same complaint about this card, that it's like a pretty placebo type effect, where you don't actually know how. In a lot of situations where I see people play these cards, they'll be like, their opponent will have like 6 and 20. We'll say, we'll just pick a random number, or like 4 and 20, and then they have their opponent shuffle back their deck, and all of a sudden it's like 5 and 28, and there's really no discernible way to know if the order of the cards in their deck was
Favorable
better
to you.
before or after. Like, you'll know how good the order of the cards are with the second deck, obviously, but there's nothing in the game that lets you see their deck before you shuffle, so you know how much of an idiot to feel like. That being
that's
said,
just the illusion of control, though. You don't need the illusion of control. This card still has a relatively not terrible expected value, especially when the extra cost is pretty low.
like, I play one. It's one of those tech slots I was talking about that you can dig up with the Hanamaru in some of my builds. I don't remember how many builds I play this in. It's fine. It's something. There are just times where if you're paying attention, you should be able to tell that you literally cannot win the game through the state of your opponent's deck. So you may as well try to
YOLO
swing
it.
it in your favor. But sometimes it's absolutely frustrating watching people play these cards because they don't really think about it. They're just like going on autopilot. They're playing level 3s. I like that you don't pay stock for this as opposed to like the Aqua, the Rin. It's pretty minor, but it's nice.
I
think
mean,
it's
but
pretty
those
significant.
keep 2, right?
Yeah, they keep 2. This keeps 1. But again, it's like you could just shuffle a million climaxes to the top of their deck or to the bottom of their deck. Like it doesn't matter how many are in the deck per se. It matters just how they're dispersed. That's been my view of these cards
Sure. I
forever.
do agree. And that's the case.
If it raises the chances of you winning the game, then it's a good
Yeah.
play, regardless.
Yeah, but there's some times where it's like it's very insignificant. And then there's times where you might even do the math bad and you might make their chance of survival better somehow. Like that probably doesn't come up ever.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if that's the case and you still need the 2-soul beta, this is still not mandatory. You can still just play
Yeah.
this and not shuffle.
Yep.
So there's no downside to it.
I do just like for those situations if you're playing against a player that plays towards compression in a very severe way. You can sort of and you know that their deck is at a point where you can't win that turn. I think that's when cards like this are their best because they turn a chance of not winning into a chance of winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, good meta viable.
Yeah, it's playable.
Also, she has like one sleeve, and that's
Yeah, that's
very
weird.
disturbing to me.
All right.
All the outfits for this are like asymmetrical, though, I believe.
So it's just like a thing.
It's just like the outfit for that song.
Sure.
All right. Next card, Aim for the Brilliance, Secret to Come. It's a 001k. I think this series of cards is funny. Put this face down under one of your 2/1 Ricos in the front row center slot. During your climax phase, when your other 0-1 Rico Sakurauchi rests, you may pay cost. If you do, stand that character. So let me get this straight. This card only gets to go under if that other card rests during your climax phase. We'll get to how that happens in 2 cards' time.
Would you believe
When
that
your
Weiss has?
other-
Would you believe that Weiss has gotten so advanced as a game that we now have climax combos that ruin ourselves?
So I just want to say that the card we're about to talk about is actually the worst climax combo in all of Weiss as a standalone, and we'll get to it. But the other effect on this card, when your other character becomes first in battle, choose a red character. That character gains 1/5 for the turn.
That's like an effect. That's
Old
fine.
man.
Yeah,
Old man.
this is niche
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I wouldn't play this without the Rico. We'll get to the Rico soon, but
Alright.
we have a stupid card to talk about in the meantime.
All right. In between.
0015, I'm shining with everyone, Yo Watanabe. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay 1. If you do, choose the worst event to build around in your waiting room and return it to your hand.
It's
It's
a
1/1
shitty
blue salvage
Raku.
event.
Bad Raku. Niche.
No,
niche
no,
minus.
it's a chibi.
Oh, sure.
a
Yeah,
bad-
you're right. It is chibi. Niche minus? Niche. Whatever.
Ish.
That might be like too
It's-
much, but whatever.
It's still a plussing engine. It's niche, whatever. Here we go. From 0 to 1, Rico Sakurauchi. I want you to forget all the other cards we talked about and evaluate this card only in a vacuum. If there's a marker under this gains 6,000 power and 1 soul.
Oh my god.
Climax combo, Recollection. When feelings become 1 is placed to your climax zone, if you have a specific event in memory and there's no marker under this, and this is in the front row center slot, rest this card. The end.
So some things that you could sort of consider about this. If it's in the back row, it doesn't get rested.
If it's in the back row, there's a marker.
Well, it doesn't. Wait.
Well, if we're assuming that we don't know what any other cards do and we don't know how it gets markers, then we don't worry about that right now. And we just
I mean, you can place it in the side slots and it won't rest. It'll just be a 2/1/8k.
feelings become 1 is a
gate.
door. So that's
a
always
door,
good.
whatever. Okay, so what you have to do here is you need to have this in the center front row slot. You need to have played the 1-1 event that we'll talk about eventually, and you need the Yo in the back row. Yo or Chica?
Chica.
It's Chica, yeah. You need Chica in the back row, and then you um you need to oh no, you can't stack it incorrectly because you check on resolution.
Yeah.
You need to use this ability, and as soon as it rests, the Chica's effect will trigger, and Chica will stand Rico, and now you have a 14k 2 soul, 15k 3 soul.
That's hilarious.
And then you have the Yos that field swap, so I mean that's funny.
It's really funny. I don't think it's very good, but it's really funny.
It's
So, yeah.
It's something that I could see someone playing as like, this is not even my final form sort of shit posting. But it's definitely not a consideration I've made for the meta decks.
So this card by itself is the worst climax combo ever printed, I believe.
I'm sure we could find something worse, or even something to
No.
meme about.
No. By itself? No.
I mean, all it does is rest itself in their climax phase.
Yeah, that's all it does.
Yeah, so
It
like I
takes-
said, has Weiss gotten so advanced as a game that
You
climax combos now hurt yourself instead of your opponent?
Maybe.
Anyway, this card is niche. Maybe niche plus. I don't know.
I'm
If it
like
gets
super
bounced,
tempted to
that's
give
really
it
bad.
dank, but like
I think this is dank meme. That's fine.
Oh,
I'm going with
yes.
dank meme.
Bloody
Because it
hell.
it's gonna be funny as fuck when it goes off. So I think that's dank meme.
It's just the 14k 2 soul. Like, whatever.
No,
man.
but
No,
with the field swapper too. Like
All the card text is dank meme.
I'm considering that a part of the deal because this is a Rico, and it's probably the best Rico to field swap with at level 2 until we get like a dank early play.
Yeah. Yep.
Seems
Alright.
good, I guess. I mean, it's not bad at all. It's like
No.
niche, maybe niche plus. Anyway,
Super dank.
from 0 to 1, Chica Takami, 002k. When this is placed from stage to waiting room, you may ditch a level 0 or lower card from your hand to the waiting room, and that includes climaxes, which is cool. If so, choose level 1 in your waiting room and add it to your hand.
But exactly level 1. That's awkward.
All right.
It's kind of weird, because it's like, you already have a discard out here, so there's no need to get the Azusa, but I guess you can get Mari. That's
So
a
if you
thing,
want to,
right?
if you can get the Chica Bomb. You can get any of your blessing combos if you really felt the need to.
This card isn't bad, but I think it's merely playable, and there's a lot of competition, so I'm not sure you play it.
Yeah.
I don't think you have zero space necessarily.
You could force it in, I suppose.
You can force a lot of cards in that you don't need to run.
Mm-hmm. But this one, you wouldn't look bad doing so, whereas some of them, you definitely do look bad.
You never look bad if you are just super confident with everything you say.
Exactly.
Duh.
That's definitely not true. But aim for the brilliance. Riko Sakura Uchi. It's a 1035. Global 500 to all your music characters. And pay 1. Sack a level 0 or lower character on your stage. Rest this. Choose a level 1 or lower music character in your waiting room. Put it in any slot on stage.
It lets you pay
I-
1 to upgrade.
Oh.
Upgrade.
There's
Boy,
a one-
I just really love that my set with these cool utility zeros with on play effects. I don't get to take advantage of that. That just makes me so happy.
I know, right?
So there is a
Sorry.
128k that you can cheat into play with this, and have paid slightly less for, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I stand by my initial statement.
I don't
Uh,
think you would ever play this.
You could. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not great either.
Pretty bad.
From 0 to 1, Yo Watanabe. It's a 107k.
I'm
This one's
so
terrible.
stupid. From 0 to 1. You're upgrading zeros into ones.
Yes, but that's not the name of the previous card.
This show. Yeah, no, but that's like a thing in the show, that it's a big deal that they went from like 0 votes in a live competition to like 1 vote, so it's like progress.
Oh my god.
Can I also point out that the actual card, which upgrades your level 0 to a level 1, is not called from 0 to 1.
I know, right?
Yeah, but the Chica is.
Okay, sure, but the Rico, which very directly does it, does not.
No. Anyways, this Yo is garbage.
I
Uh,
mean, she's kind of cute.
I don't think it's garbage. I think the 107k is good enough to think about playing it.
But to
The plus one
justify
soul,
giving your opponent +1 soul,
that's like not even that big a deal. Sometimes they'll overswing as well. Like it's generally a bad thing,
I
but
mean,
if
the
they're playing
floor is your
climax
opponent gets a
anyway,
free side attack,
yeah, sure, that's fair. But then you're plussing anyway.
and the ceiling is, well, I guess the real floor, depending on the perspective, is you take a
You
bunch of
dying.
damage and die.
Yeah, like that's not
Additionally,
something you can
being
control.
bottom decked whenever it gets reversed is actually very unfortunate. I don't think
It
it's
is a bit
as
annoying.
relevant in this set, but like the consistent power boost based on music on field, or if you have like some sort of like checking for a certain character kind of things, not again relevant in this set as much, but like
Well,
that
if
absolutely
you're
hurts.
playing this card, you're probably playing the meme second year's deck, which means that this immediately makes your field swapper Yo 1k weaker when it dies. So yeah,
And
there's
additionally,
your
when you bottom deck it, that also means that's guaranteed damage that your opponent can deal to you down the line, depending on how things sequence up. So like as a pre-refresh play, like when we're close to the end, this card is a particularly bad.
hmm
Yeah, but I've also
That's
seen people completely miss lines of play where they can use this card to get an extra attack at 3/6 where they normally would have just refreshed and died. So if you're there, if you're playing Weiss to tell stories, then these kinds of cards are perfect for you.
How much have you tested this game that you've one encountered someone playing this card and two encountered a situation where that happens?
The puck from ReZero.
Sure.
Oh, sure, sure. I thought you meant this exact card, but yeah, all right. That's fair.
No, I saw a guy misplay when he could have crashed his puck to get a third attack
Sure.
and potentially win.
Oh, so sure.
Not everyone can be great like me though. Ugh.
Anyways, my
Seems good.
stance is I'm gonna give it a bad personally. Like I don't ever want to be pumping soul. I don't think 107k is enough to warrant it, and I think there are enough detriments that this card is probably actively bad to your game plan. But I don't know. I'm overly harsh about a lot of things and overly lenient about a bunch of other random things. So
I just kind of want to see one day they make like a card with like 4 downsides and
how
just see
big
how
it is.
monstrous. Yeah, like that's an ambition of mine to see that day.
How big does this card have to be to become playable?
I don't know. Let's give it -1 level on field and can't front attack things higher than it and see what happens.
Oh god. It's gotta be like
'Cause
12k.
I'm pretty sure that would make it like at least 9k power, but then it can only front level zeros.
All right. Next card. Pool cleaning. Yo Watanabe. 128k. Only one soul. Hand encore. You cheated out. That's about it. It's niche minus maybe because it's terrible top deck.
It's so bad. It doesn't even have 2 soul.
I mean, you
Yeah.
just play it with the Rico
Yeah.
as stated earlier.
Okay.
Next card. Important things. Chika Takami is a 2/1/8/5, and it's not a vanilla. If you have 4 more other music characters, this gets -1 level while in hand. When this is reversed in battle, clock yourself and rest this.
Zambi.
Yeah, Zambies are historically questionable. Always.
I don't know. They're pretty good at in Magic right now.
I think
No.
so. The zombies I have played / liked the most, which would be I guess 1 zombie in total, which is the Sachiko from CG, are ones that don't just get destroyed by level 1 bombs. And this falls under that category. But I don't think that's a good thing. Like, the zombie Sayaka in context is from a completely different time, and that card was pretty fine because it's like Clock Encore was pretty good, and that card effectively had Clock Encore, and you could eventually just sack it off to Sayaka's Wish. But the zombie effect shouldn't be something that's particularly sought after, and as an avenue of giving your character more power, it's a pretty shitty one.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. My stance on zombies are generally like, again, like I don't have a very high opinion. Zombie Sayaka has a unique spot where you also had Sayaka's wish, so you can mitigate the downside anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
But you other sets that have had zombies, they've generally been completely unplayable, with maybe the exception of some of the Berserker zombies. But
I
again,
mean,
context
like,
of the set.
what do you think of Relentless Dead though?
Relentless Dead is probably one of the worst zombies in the zombie deck. That deck
Very
only
overrated.
exists because of Crypt Breaker and Dread Wanderer, and to
Yeah,
an extent,
I
Diregraph Colossus.
yeah,
I
Crypt
think
Breaker's
Lord of the
insane
Curse is
actually.
very good.
I think if you didn't have enough 1 mana zombies for that deck, it would not be playable. And the fact that Dread Wanderer is a 1 mana zombie that can recur itself is hugely relevant to the playability of the deck, because otherwise it's too hard to enable Crypt Breaker early.
Yeah, Crypt Breaker is actually insane.
Like, the whole deck is about enabling Crypt Breaker to be as broken as humanly possible. That's literally why
Okay.
you play zombies.
So yeah, this
Um,
card isn't good because it doesn't synergize with Crypt Breaker because it doesn't have zombie trait.
No, it does not.
Crypt Breaker.
But you can discard a 2 Crypt Breaker to produce a 2/2 zombie.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Moving on to a event, brilliance that can't be created alone. 1/1. And this is the one that you need in memory for Rico to do things. Look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to 2 music characters you find there, add them to your hand, ditch the rest, send this to memory. Why is this in red? Why is the salvage event in blue? What is wrong with the people up there in R&D? What is wrong?
See, because if this were the well, I'll have to remember that question for later. That's not related at all. Because if this was the event for the blue cards, then maybe I would have thought about wanting to test the pendants, maybe, or the blue card and the fake Nisekoi, the Nisa Nisekoi build, if you will.
Worst part is playing more of this to enable the Rico combo more consistently weakens this card. It's like immediate diminishing returns, and that's really annoying.
The fact
Yeah.
that, like, oh man, let's go get that hypergeometric calculator up again. That's what this is here for.
We don't need that. It's like it's just not going to be great.
No, we got this. We're doing the math. Someone give me a number of like non-events. We're gonna say 30 cards in deck. Successes. How many?
We'll say you have 8 whiffs. You have
8
6
whiffs?
climaxes and 2
All right,
events.
22. Sample size 2. Number of successes in sample 2. 53% chance to hit 2.
Nice.
It's not terrible, but that's still not anywhere near good.
I mean, at worst, you're paying 1 to cantrip, which is really bad in Weiss.
You are putting a card to memory, so once you do refresh, you aren't losing out on compression, I guess.
But you could also not lose out on compression by keeping that stock. Technically, you can use that stock to play good cards. Like it's kind of complex, but do you see where I'm getting at?
60% chance to hit at least 1.
I mean, that's just a
Oh.
cantrip.
Horrifying.
Wait, 60? Greater than 1. No, sorry, 94% chance. 94%
Okay, yeah,
chance.
that didn't sound
That
does not
nearly
sound right.
correct at all.
No, 94% chance to hit at least 1.
So 6% of the time, you're gonna feel like an absolute jackass.
Yeah, you paid 1 stock to neg 1 and do nothing.
Nice.
Nice. Niche.
Yeah, it's obviously niche because it has to go into that deck specifically. And
Well, it doesn't have to. Well, it has to go into that deck, but that doesn't mean it's limited to that deck.
No, you're just never, ever playing this event outside of that deck. Because
Fine.
it's not good.
Okay, so actually, just to be clear, the other 1/1 event deck can do something similar to this, so it's not even that big of a deal. But we could talk about that later.
Yeah. All right, blue. We're almost
All right.
done. It's only taken us 2 hours.
Oh, can
Thanks,
I please read this card?
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Mirai ticket, Mario Hara. Oh, how I remember the days the single day when it was Love Live spoiler season and this was revealed on foreign. It's a 2K power level 0. When this is placed from hand to stage, choose one of your other music characters and that character gains 1K power for the turn. Seems reasonable. Pay 1, put the top card of your library into your clock. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay the cost. If so, search your library for a shitty event, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Wow! Fuck this, man. I'm getting a drink. Fuck this card. This card could have been something not terrible. The worst part is, like, at the time I was, like, trying to scout out good Mari cards. And I think this card's really cute. Like, I have a Mari deck I sometimes play. And the event doesn't even have Mari on it, so it's like I can't even utilize this.
I mean, it has another effect.
That's true, but that's not really the kind of card I... Maybe it is the kind of card I want to play. I don't know, like...
So, I don't know Mike Cheng personally, and I don't have any ill feelings towards him. But I would have paid a non-zero sum of money to be in the room when he found out what this card did.
I mean, I was considering yelling really loud like I was the angry video game nerd, but it's not YouTube in the year 2006, so that may not have been as funny as I wanted it to be. But I could expect... You know, Mike just doesn't seem like he's ever yelled in his life, actually.
You should interact with Mike on a weekly basis, dude.
I guess
the sort of guy who would get overhype about things.
He yells what all the time.
He has this Doctor Doom shirt where it just says foot dive a bunch, so maybe that's look into the kind of person.
No, he does not play. He does not play Marvel.
I thought he did.
No, he played Sakura in Ultra Street Fighter 4. I don't think he actually played that much Marvel.
Oh, I just thought he played fighting games. Well, I mean, he's at least a Marvel spectator.
He plays on Hitbox.
What a man. Mike Chang is an enigma, dude. I love that guy.
Right. Indignation aside, this card is so close, yet so far.
It's not close at all.
Hey man, Star Wars got a Ricky.
It has the same cost as a bunch of cards. You can't call every force card so close to a drop searcher because it has pay 1, discard a card. Like, that's just not how it works.
This card also searches for a specific card that Ricky might be able to search for an equivalent for.
Oh my god.
Here's the problem. When you break it down, at the end of the day, here's what you're doing. You're paying 1, you're clocking yourself, you're paying a second 1 to salvage a card and give a character 1,000 power. There, I spoiled it. That's what the event does. It's a blue event that salvages. What the fuck? There's a yellow brainstorm that salvages. What the fuck?
Hashtag fuck the color pie, dude. Do you think we need to have an adult supervisory warning on our channel or something?
They must have really shifted cards around because a lot of the they really make an effort to not straight power creep things, but they don't make any effort whatsoever to conserve their rather flimsy color pie. And I feel like they probably just mixed things around based on character availability and card placement. But anyway, this card is very depressing. It requires you to put a lot of stock in for very minimal reward. It is a plus. Like, it is a plus, but that's not much of a plus.
Can we, to compare it to anything findable in like any set in the game, a standard in Weiss is pay 2 to plus. And if you want to use the event, this card is a pay 2 clock yourself
plus.
To plus.
Yeah, but see, the plus is for anything in your waiting room. It could even be a boat.
Or you could play, like, I'm sure there's like some shitty common somewhere that's on play pay 2 salvage, or you could even play the Yo Bomb that's on death pay 2 salvage. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. No, this card is so awkward. And it's double rare, dude. Oh my god.
And it's so fucking cute. And it's a card I'm just never going to play. It's a card I'm never going to play seriously.
It's just like the
seriously. Yeah, it's
gotta be
niche. Sure.
All right. Next
Niche
card.
implies I might play it though.
Whatever.
Next card. Mirai Ticket Dia Kurosawa is a 1045. When you play a climax to the climax zone, this gains 1/5 for the turn. Climax combo, when the battle opponent of this is reversed, if you have Mirai Ticket, the gate or the whatever, in your climax zone, yeah, the gate or the wind, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 2 level 1 or higher cards you find there to your hand, ditch the rest.
I'm already pulling up the calculator.
Okay, so basically, Baron von Yolo of Weiss Schwarz 4 in Fame. I ran some numbers with him on this because at the time when I was testing this card, I had about 15 level zeros in my deck. And I don't remember what the numbers were, but it seemed right. I think it was like a 60% chance to plus or something among multiple dias.
Okay, so I'm doing my calculations assuming 35 cards in deck, which might be high, with 17 remaining misses in the deck. You're
So like half your deck is hits.
half your deck is hits. Unsurprisingly, you have about a 50% chance to whiff.
So just to compare this, there's a couple nuance.
No,
would
no,
not be
it's,
the right
it's not
word.
a 50% chance to whiff. It's a 25, 26% chance to whiff.
The chance to completely whiff is 25%.
The chance
Yeah,
to
so-
hit
26%.
one is about the chance to hit one is like 25. Not sorry. At least one is 75-ish, and hit two it's about like 20 something.
So
22,
small
23.
So small rant about this card. This card, I don't know if it was first printed in Kisniver, but that's the first time I remember ever seeing it. Kind of this weird slot machine effect. It never seemed appropriate in Kisniver because just Kisniver is a deck that just seems like a deck you want a gajillion level zeros in. Sunshine already rewards you for this like top heavy gameplay, so having a combo like this should work out better. If we really wanted to, I could pull up numbers given to me on the chance to hit on a Kisniver deck with 18 zeros and just assume that your average Love Live deck should do better. But in playing this card, it's just very up to God what happens. Because even if you run a bunch of sims or whatever, you could be the guy that hits 6 cards on 3 or hit 0 cards on 3. That's just...
I mean, I whipped a collector
Variance.
company today, so...
I didn't know that was
you
legal.
you might also be hitting cards you don't even care about. Like, these are still very blind plus. They're not great.
I
It's
mean,
non-select.
this is definitely a card you play with the Akatsuki, because that's the only way you're going to turn the garbage in your hand into
Playable Magic cards.
not garbage.
No. Playable Weiss cards.
God.
The combo is awkward, but this is bondable at least. There is that going for it. So you do get to at least guarantee some advantage from your stock by bonding to this. It also gets huge. So there's also that going for it. And it does combo with a Global Soul Climax. Global Soul, Global Power. I believe it's the pants, right? So.
Yes.
Okay, so the Sims ran for an 18 level 0 Kisniver deck. If you play 2 Tengas, it's a 60% chance to add 2 cards to your hand between the 2 Tengas. So
That's not terrible.
with Sunshine, if you're playing a lighter 0, you can assume that your chances of hitting are even greater than 60%.
Yeah. So you're looking at like 65-70% chance to hit at least one thing.
Or you could play Chica
And
or
Slime Two Souls.
Ruby, and with two rubies / Chicas, have like a much greater chance of putting 2 cards in your hand. Like the real payoff is for these cards is like those corner cases where you just go absolutely nuts and you probably have to discard cards at end of turn.
Sure. I do think this is a little bit worse, maybe a lot worse, than the 2 Soul Chica combo. I think it's Chica, right?
Ruby.
Ruby. whatever, the one that gets to go ham and like pay one to bounce back to your hand.
Yeah.
But there are upsides to this. Ruby gets her plus from stock on her own. This one gets it from a corresponding bond.
Yeah. Like this being bondable is relevant. This just kind of like it's just a different playstyle than the Ruby deck. So if you're not comfortable with playing like a two soul deck, this is something you can play. Like this is like my build for this, I would not call my best build, but it's still very functional. It still does stuff. It's not like it's a bad deck. It's just I played in a straight yellow blue deck, so that already has some issues, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this card does have a lot of little issues, but they all stem from the fact that it's not selective, and that's what really kills it for me. Not only is it inconsistent, it's not selective. Whatever. Anyway, so who wants to talk about disappointments?
Oh, me, because
Yeah, you can have this. You can have this next one.
if I recall correctly, this was the first spoiler. This and the 1-1 event.
Okay.
Mirai ticket, Kanan Matsura. It's a 3/2 with 9k power. Recollection, if there are two or more thinking about each other in your memory, this gets -1 level wall in your hand. It's an early play. It's very suspiciously familiar sounding early play. When this is placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a 1 or lower, put it into your stock. Not bad. When this is placed from hand to stage, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character gains the following ability for the turn. During battles involving this, you cannot play events or backups from hand. So as an early play, I think this card is kind of exemplary. Is that even the right word? It's just really bad. Like, the implication is by the time you play this, if you naturally drew 2 events, you've poured 4 stock into a 9k power early play that doesn't gain power. If you didn't draw the events and you still managed to early play it, that means you played the Yo Bonder or God forbid the Mari. So you're looking at like 5 stock into this card. She can return a stock, which is still like a net loss of 4 stock. The most interesting thing about her is you can make it so, like, I guess your opponent won't anti-change her, but they'll just murder her on your next turn. And then the effect where you draw and give a character no events or backups has applications in certain matchups, like games such as Two Love Rue, Little Busters, anything with like
Money.
stupid events, namely money, but could be other things that
Tap
I'm
counters,
not thinking.
etc.
Tap counters, yeah. Like you can sort of use it to like blank a lane and say no, I'm in charge. But I don't think that makes this card totally worth running either. At least, like, if you want to play it for that, you could play one, I guess, as like a really weird, awkward machine of ice you have to draw and have the turn you want to go in. But this is such a lackluster early play for the amount of effort you have to put into it, where that effort is playing a bunch of mediocre cards.
I don't think this is worth it at all as a payoff for the package. If this is your only payoff, which it kind of is, right?
I mean, there. You'll see.
Well, there are other payoffs, but there are. You'll see.
Oh God.
So not
This
only
is
do you
what
have to
happens
pay
when I
up
didn't
front
read into
stuff,
this set ahead of time.
this card is just so mediocre. Like, it is kind of a 1-cost character, but the fact you have to pay 2 costs to get this down at a point where it's even relevant is really depressing. You could just play this as an anti-event character, but that is also pretty depressing, if you ask me.
Like, aren't there just characters you can play that when you play them, like, your opponent just can't play events at all?
Yes.
Yeah, but they pay extra for
they
those.
usually pay a stock.
Yeah, but that's if you're going to have a tech card to do that, I'd rather have something like that than this, I'm pretty sure.
I used to run a one of UE in Two Lover because of that.
There you go. So the only thing about Man, I was like so willing to
I mean-
try the event stuff if there was a Raku bond, but spoiler, there is no Raku bond for the event. So you're just forced to play 1 million stock or clutter your hand with these events.
Yeah, that sounds really mediocre. This effect is playable minus. I don't even know if I want this in early play because it's almost guaranteed to
No,
die on the crackback.
Ooh.
It's so weak. So
A boon,
weak.
a boon in this card's favor is if you use Little Akiba, like a foolish person. They have, they fixed it. So originally, Little Akiba had it written down that if you have one of the events in memory, she's an early play.
No.
But there's
And
a
I
2
saw
on the
that, and
card.
Yeah, I know, but so I saw that and I was like, did I remember it wrong?
No, you didn't.
And I got excited for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, let's go to Heart of the Cards.
All right, let's move on. I actually like this card. I really do.
Mijuku Dreamer, Dear Kurosawa. It's a 00500, dies to Kaiki. Your other character in the front row center slot gains 500 power. Brainstorm, pay 1, tap 2, mill 4, and for each climax you mill, draw up to 2 cards and discard a card.
How to mill your deck.
Kirita Brainstorm.
I like this brainstorm profile personally. I actually do appreciate it being simultaneously a discard and a plussing outlet, even if your pluses are blind. It's more relevant in event-based sets because it lets you draw into your events. So yeah, I actually like these profiles in general. Personally,
It's not bad, but because 2 of the premier plussing combos in the set aren't selective.
yeah, you can't really afford it because you
There's
need
far
to
less situations where you want to play this card over the Rico or even the Maru.
Yeah, also those are tap self brainstormers, which is a notable.
Rico is not tap self.
Is it not? Is it tap 2?
It's tap 2.
Oh. I can still see an argument over this over the Rico then, but again, not having the selected pluses is the strongest argument against this.
The Rico doesn't die to Kaiki, if that's ever relevant.
Not since Monogatari stopped being a deck.
I mean, people didn't even play Monogatari in the good, or people didn't play Monogatari. People didn't play Kaiki.
I think it was mostly just us and our memes, but I'm still giving this card a playable.
Yeah, like it's playable. It's a brainstorm.
It's
It
playable.
does stuff.
Yeah.
But
All
I
right,
don't know.
moving onward.
Not in my deck.
Alright, next card, Mijuku Dreamer, Kanan Matsura. 217k.
No.
I
Can we
sense that
skip
you
these?
really,
Can we skip
really,
these?
really want me to let you read it. I'll let you read it.
Mijuku Dreamer, Kanan Matsura. It's a 2/1/7k power. When this is placed on hand to stage, if you have 4 or more other music characters, you may put the top card of your library in stock. What a groundbreaking effect. Pay 1, discard 2 cards from your hand to the waiting room. Choose another character on your stage in battle. Put it in the waiting room. Rest this.
Oh my god.
This ability activates up to once per turn. When your other character with Mari in its name becomes reversed in battle, if this is standing in the front row, you may pay cost. If so, choose one Mijuku Dreamer Mario Hara in your hand and put it in the slot that character was in.
We're gonna get to it in a moment, but
No, I want to talk about...
wait, this has to be standing?
I want to talk
basically
about
you
the
sack an
Mari.
attack.
Oh,
Mijuku
okay.
You
Dreamer.
sacrifice an attack to get
We
the 3
can skip to the Mari, and you're not even necessarily sacrificing attack because if they can get over it, then you're sunk.
Because I want to talk about these cards together.
Sure. Here's the Mari.
So, Mijuku Dreamer Mario Hara, 3/2, 10k power. When it comes into play, you have to search your deck for a music character, reveal it, put it in your hand, whatever. Climax combo, when it attacks, if Mijuku Dreamer is in the climax zone and there are 5 or fewer cards in your hand, reveal the top card of your library if it's a level 0 or lower. Choose one of your Mijuku Dreamer Kana Matsura and stand it.
Wait, what?
So,
Okay, so
the meme
let's
here...
break it down. Break it down.
Let's say you're level 2 or whatever. You have the Kanon in the front row. You attack with any old Mari. It gets reversed. You pay 1, discard 2. You sack that Mari. You put the 3/2 Mari into play. You search a card. Hopefully that doesn't put you to 6 or more cards in hand. And then this card, like, goes and does its thing when you have the climax in play. You reveal top card of your deck. If it's a 0 or lower, you restand the Kanon so it can attack.
So you paid 1, ditch 2, put a card from your hand into play, so it's more like ditch 3, got a character killed to get 1 extra.
It's not ditch 3 because you get a character in play.
Sure.
Then it's actually only ditch 1 because the character tutors.
cantrips.
Yeah,
So
here's one of the main problems I have with the combo. To me, the most obvious thing to do with this would be to use the 1/0 Mari double R from the first set, because not only is that the best Mari, it top checks when it dies. But then you can either in like an ideal world, I guess you could top check, choose if you want to use Kanon or not, because you have to set, like, you would sack the Mari if it's a level 0, I guess, because that would guarantee the restand, or you would not sack the Mari and bounce it to your hand. But then the problem is putting the level 3 Mari into play would shuffle your deck anyway, because you have to search. So it's a complete blind attack.
Is that how it works out?
Well,
Yeah.
because
Can
Weiss
you
doesn't
stack it?
Weiss doesn't have a
Can't you stack
stack. You have to resolve all the effects, and then you get to resolve the other effects, right?
No, because they all get added to the primed and waiting pile. So
Let me
You use-
think about this. This activates your other character with Mari becomes
So
reversed.
they reverse, not dies.
So,
So
wait, could you,
you
like-
put the Mari into play, then it goes to the waiting room, so it dies. Then the search and the top check happen at the same time, right? So you could search first.
No. So the Mari thing is when it gets reversed,
Oh.
which is when the Kanon primes.
So,
So I don't know if there's a pocket in there between Kanon putting the second Mari into
it's
play.
not between. Like, what happens is you start resolving the Kanon, you kill the Mari, everything all happens,
you put the
and
Mari
you
into
play the 3/2 onto field. And now the Mari 3/2's ability also primes and goes onto the pool that you can choose from.
and then you choose to resolve the Mari effect, then you choose to resolve the scry, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I'm wrong about the sequencing on that. That's fine. These cards are still garbage.
Yeah, I'm still in agreement there.
We
There
can
is-
go with that for certain, but I do think you can use the scry with Mari.
I would
If you
imagine.
want to restand, there's a Kanon in the first set that restands for way less effort. It's even the same character. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
This is an advanced summon.
Yeah, I mean,
Technically, it's a pay 1 ditch 2, which is quite the advanced summon indeed.
I mean, I guess as an upside, if you miss the restand, you still get 3
Wait.
attacks for the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I wouldn't call this good by any stretch, but it's a thing, I guess.
it's a pile of cards,
That
and
it seems
assuming you can top check with the 1/0 after the 3/2 comes into play, it's a little better. But if my initial assumption of how that situation works is correct, then it's like, why?
niche.
Well, why though? Also, you're playing the book, so it's like you're not playing the. I guess you could play with the 2 soul, which is dank af.
I'm giving it niche, which might be too positive. It might be niche minus.
It's
I
niche.
don't
Why?
know. Why would you play this is my question. I just don't think you play this.
No.
Anyway.
Cause
So-
you like Majuku Dreamer. You want to play every Majuku Dreamer combo.
All right.
Sure.
Well, going back to 42 because we skipped it.
Aim for the Brilliance, Dear Kurosawa, 3/2 10k. Come and play heal. When this is placed on stage, if you have 4 more other music characters, you may stock 1. So it is a maybe 3/1 heal.
This might be the preferred generic healer if you want something generic, but
I think it is definitely the preferred
It would
generic
be
healer.
because refunding stock is pretty big.
Like, aside from the situations where you want the Ruby to assist in other characters reversing stuff, this
Yeah.
card is just going to be better because its ceiling is a 3/1 healer, and its floor is like a 3/2 healer. That's kind of how I see it. And like, if you were going to play 3/2 healers anyway, why not just play 3/1 healers?
Yeah.
I also want to point out that if your opponent has single anti-heal, you can resolve the stock first and then the heal, and then pay only 1 extra to get past the anti-heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving onward, it's a generic 2K counter.
Yay.
No, well, we skipped, we did the Mari anyway.
Yeah.
Generic 2K counter.
Playable.
Your level 1s are all like
Tiny.
4Ks, 4/5s.
Tiny.
This is a valuable card, and like eventually it will be good.
It's a protect the advanced summon card, which
Yeah.
it
Well,
does
I mean,
well.
like today that's what it does, but when there are more Love Live Sunshine sets,
It'll do stuff.
eventually you're going to actually want a deck that wants counters at level 1.
Yeah.
And just this having a 2K counter is better than Love Live that doesn't have a 2K counter until those sleeves come out.
Yep.
I mean, the third year's deck can play in a really wally fashion. There's like 2 Kanans that are like 6/5 on their turn or something.
I don't like any of those cards because I think the general implication is like if you're playing those cards
I'm just
before
saying.
it
saying
was
if
very
it-
hard to protect that. Like I know what you're saying. I tried to figure out something like that, but I think you're just sacrificing too many good cards because you're just if you want to play the better level 1s, you're going to have these pretty weak lanes anyway. So what's the point of trying to have these Wally cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is still like a playable card.
Yeah. It's
eventually.
perfectly playable.
No, and
it
it's
protects your
playable.
advanced summons.
It's playable now. Like if you want to play the Maru early play, if that's kind of like your thing, or if you even want to punch to protect the Chicas and Yos.
I think the latter is what you'll be doing, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like I think there is a deck for Maru, but
Sure.
that doesn't really matter. And I think that deck you want the punches more because you are kind of riding or dying on how much stock your Marus can return you, because that's one of the more interesting things I think that deck can do.
Okay. Next card then. Aim for the Brilliance. Mario Hara is a 1/1/4/5. It's a level assist, and when your climax is placed in your climax zone, give a character 1k for the turn. None of the advanced summoned 2/1s are worth it,
Yeah.
and you have a better level X for
Yeah.
most situations.
But
And
this
the
is
only advanced
married
summon,
life.
yeah, the only advanced summon in blue that you care about, or even exists in blue,
Is
is
garbage.
terrible.
There's 2.
Yeah, there's like a trial deck one or something, isn't there?
No. There's the Mari that we just talked about,
Yeah.
and the Kanan. The double.
No. No.
I don't think you know what no means.
All right, man. You can play the shittiest Onodera they've ever printed, and you get back to me about how that goes. Because this is, keep in mind, this is a costed character as well.
Yeah, I don't give a shit how bad it is. It's still an early play.
This is true. My stance is you probably don't play this level assist over any other level assist because you're not exactly color locked as it is. So
There's no way you play this.
I'm gonna
No
go
way.
ahead and give this a bad.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
there's no
it's-
way you play it, but
Yeah,
whatever.
you do have early
It's-
plays.
It's just such a boring card.
Here's one of the quote unquote payoffs for the event.
Oh, yeah.
This is a quote unquote early play, right? It's the 2/1/5/5. If you have the 1/1 event in memory, this gains 4/5. Are they even thinking about these cards they designed? Like, this is so clearly under spec. The freaking 2/1 Yo field swap is the same power for way less investment.
As a
What-
point of
what are you-
reference, this one randomly has the student council trait.
That's because she's on the student council.
But you see, I looked at the
Yeah.
other ones, and they don't have the student council trait.
Maybe she got kicked off. After
Usually it's like so they'll put associative traits of the characters on like the not on the stuff that isn't related to songs directly. So like on stuff that's anime screenshots. on stuff where it's like the outfits or other promotional artwork, I think they usually just have the music trait.
Anyways,
IDK.
this card is not very good, and it's totally not worth the effort.
It looks like someone scribbled on her face.
That too.
Yeah, that's very rude.
Hug within memory. Kanan Matsura, 002K. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may discard a 1/1 event from the 1/1 blue event from your hand. If you do, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to 2 music characters you find there, reveal them, add them to your hand, put the rest in the waiting room.
I feel like this is the YOLO plan with the event.
This is why I would want to play the event, because I like playing stupid cards like this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna give it dank meme.
So what's actually going to happen with this is you're going to search the event with the Ricky,
And you're gonna
and then the
reveal
next
2
turn
events.
you play this down, you'll ditch this, and yeah, you'll get the 2 events, and it'll be great.
Anyway.
Niche. Escape from Reality, Dear Kurosawa, 002K. When this attacks, you may pay 1, ditch a card from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a blue character, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. If at the beginning of your of either on-course deck you have no other rested characters in the front row, you may pay 1. If you do, rest this. So like if everything in your field dies, you can let the other cards die first, then you can pay 1 to save this.
It doesn't matter
So
if you let the other ones die. It's just if they died at all, it doesn't matter when you pay for this.
Like if there's
yeah,
no other resting,
sure,
so
sure.
if you have reversed characters, basically.
well, if you
reversed
own-
or
you
no
point out
characters.
one.
or standing characters for that matter.
All right, so I'd like to point out that this is a good card to get that 1/0 climax combo, which combos with like it salvages a bunch of blue characters.
What? No, because it
Can
can't
someone
search
tell
it.
me I'm wrong, please?
It can't search it. It only this
I know
only
you.
this only
That's the
searches
joke.
blue.
I know you can't. That's the joke.
Yeah.
I like this card because I like the second effect, and like on it, I don't like on attack stuff like this. In
Yeah,
a different
I'm not
in a
fa-
different time, it was really cool when Persona got the Naoto. But it's 2017, and I don't feel like I need to be doing shit like this. I feel like I should just be able to play
A drop
play
searcher
Weiss
and
like
call it a day.
an honest man, or like a Ricky, or like a Ricky that does like 7 other things because it's 2017 and that's where the game's going.
This card is playable if you really want a repeatable drop searcher effect.
I mean, I
don't
think-
know that.
I think the second
think it
effect
still
might
is.
be closer to why you play it, because it's just like
Yeah,
a
it's fine.
card that doesn't die. But
Well, I mean,
I
it's,
think
it's,
so,
it's like a 1 cost plus, I guess.
and that's fine because I think that's
Playable.
I think that's a way you should build towards.
But in
in
that context, you're
Sunshine.
definitely better off playing the runner.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Like you would play this if you're being dank as hell and you want to play like way too many events.
Ugh.
All right. Beloved friend Mario Hara. When this is placed from hand to stage, put mill 2 cards. If there is at least 1 level 0 or lower character there, this may side attack without soul penalty. Why is this
Why?
card in... Why? Why does this card
Why
exist?
do the Mari cards reward you for playing level 0s when the best Mari card does the exact opposite?
This card is
That's
garbage.
what I was asking. This is ridiculous. Why would you do that?
This card is garbage. It's
Anyway.
just bad. Why does blue suck so
Aim-
much?
It's alright. It's not the
it-
worst.
It has the best healer.
This is true.
Aim for the Brilliance, Kanan Matsura, 1065. When this is placed from hand to stage, give one of your opponent's characters 3k. It's actually kind of neat. And
Encore.
character on.
I think this card is sick as fuck,
Yeah, this card
but
is fine.
I don't think there's an appropriate time to play it, really.
If you hit level 1 first, you can pump to level 0 and get over it still.
No, I mean like an appropriate deck to play.
Oh,
Well, you
Probably
can
not.
play like you can play a deck with this in it, and then you can have this as your 1 column that lives, while your other 2 columns are like a Mari and a Dia or something.
Yeah, I just don't think you have the room.
you get to immediately put
yeah.
that costless 2k counter to work.
All my
Well,
level
this
1s are
could be-
tight because I'm trying to simultaneously build with Mari in mind and like maximize on stuff.
Like Akatsuki's and crap.
Like generally Akatsuki's, yeah.
Is it weird that this is one of the better cards in blue?
Yeah.
I don't- I think it's a totally fine card, and
It's
it's
like a playable card,
Yeah,
right?
it's playable.
it's super playable. Like the 3K, you can have your deck in a way where the 3K doesn't matter. Like
Exactly.
you could play a bomb, for instance,
Or you
Uh,
can just hit
a
level 1
Chica
first, and
bomb. Yeah, there's
then you
all
can attack into your opponent's runner, which is now a 5/5. Oh no.
yeah, that's also super true. But like you can have like your shitter lane already that would have not reversed anything. You could play a climax inside. You can bomb it. You could do it to a useless level 0 that lived. Like it's a very tame downside, and I was like kind of terrified what this card would do when I saw it was a 1065 with hand encore.
Yeah.
This does get really bad in multiples, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can stack it on one dude and just call it a day, like, and then sack the lane.
Sure, but you need to have a setup before that's actually something you want to do.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Right.
Like
Let's cover the last couple of cards.
no.
Shiny Mario Hara. When this is placed
Oh
behind
my
the stage,
God.
if neither player has an empty slot, all players draw a card. No, this is mandatory. You can deck your opponent out with this, and if you beat your opponent using this card's draw, that is, they're at 3/6 and they draw out and lose because of this, you've unlocked a silver achievement. Congratulations.
What? You've unlocked an achievement that your opponent didn't just scoop.
Shiny, please.
When you're at 3/6 with one card in your deck, you could pass the turn and you win the game. You don't
but
have to
it's
do
a
anything.
matter of principle. It's a matter of principle. It's not even easy either. They need to have a full field.
Yeah. Like, this is unlikely.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a
You
dank
get-
meme card.
You
I
get,
think.
you
I
get
don't
an
think
extra.
we've
You
ever
get a
played
gold
this.
achievement if you manage to draw the game using this effect.
It's another way to draw. That's brilliant.
That's true, actually. I didn't think about that.
Platinum
Yeah,
trophy
alright.
right there.
Platinum trophy. The Weiss Platinum trophy is not one anyone has attained.
Anyways. That is-
Thinking about each other.
I'll let you talk about this one.
It is a 1/1 blue event card with lollies on it. Choose a music character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. Choose one of your characters, and that character gains 1k power for the turn. Send this to memory.
That's garbage.
Am I in 2012? This seems like a 2012 event in red. This is a red event from 2012.
Like, they're just so. I just think they were afraid to make a decent card.
Just think about the yellow ignite module for a bit.
Yeah.
So
Like,
1/1
it-
yellow event that gives 2k and checks the top 4.
Which is
Better.
bondable by a card that is technically a back row. Where this is bondable by an effective vanilla, gives less power, is just less good in general, and conflicts with what blue is often associated with. In one, it salvages, and two, it gives the power to the end of your own turn, and it's only 1k power. Like, what the hell?
This
That
is
1K power
underspec
is so
in
confusing.
every possible way. I feel like either the Nisekoi scarring has lasted to this day, or somebody made some last minute changes and they were not very good for balancing.
I think it's very fair to assume that the Nisekoi scarring is relevant to this day because they still refuse to touch Nisekoi on the ban list.
This is true.
I'm not saying that like Marika needs to be unbanned or something retarded like that for you listeners at home, but I feel very strongly about Nisekoi, and I think they can change the three
choose
pick
one of
one
three.
in some way without destroying their game.
Especially because the most broken Nisekoi play, which was free fresh into Onodera, is now replicable by something like 6 different sets.
Yeah, it's just like that's what you expect to do with the game now.
Anyway, on that particularly depressing note, I think we're done with all the cards.
Solid 2.5 hour cast.
All right, Teru, given that you have gone through this set way more than either of us, I'll let you talk about what you think the best couple of cards in each color are.
Oh, we're doing the overview in the same video?
Oh yeah.
Damn right.
Oh, okay. So top three for each color might be a little bold, but I'll do my best. I'll do my
Top two is
Rubesti
fine.
as it is. I'll do top three. I can definitely do it for yellow.
Yeah, yellow has a clear top three in my opinion.
So, in my own opinion, I really like the Musashi. Just having that as an additional tool for the deck as a finisher option, and being a really early spoiler got me excited for the set. Because normally I feel like whenever I preemptively buy into a set, that set just ends up being bad. Like, I don't know if that's like my perspective and expecting so much from the set sort of thing, but it just feels that way. So Musashi was a very pleasant early spoiler. I think Ruby is a really good card as well, the 1-0 Climax combo Ruby. I have a deck I play with it that is super fun and super good. And then I think the 1-0 Climax event is really good. Those
I
are
like
my
the
picks
stock
for
bomb.
yellow. Yeah, that's fine. I figured you were going to say that. The stock bomb's fine too. We've gone over why it's a silly card, but
It's still good.
for how my decks are, like I just haven't been building with the stock bomb in mind because I prefer the Chica beater from the first set. But as far as cards that I've used to great effect so far, I like the three I listed. Red's kind of a shit show. I guess
Red, you
the
just did
I
the
guess the
double Rs,
three I guess the double R's because I just like to pay to win or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like the Rico's kind of outstanding on her own. Like her second effect is really good, but it's really hard to cut the Chica and the Yo from each other. I'd say that Yo is somewhat better than Chica because there are decks I'm playing Yo in that I'm not playing Chica in. I don't know if that's super arbitrary or not. Uh, as far as a card I think is interesting, but probably just isn't there yet. I think the 2-1 Yo might have applications in the future if we ever get better Ricos to work with.
It is just a 2 on 10K. That's not nothing. Like
Yeah,
you can see some cards are clearly pushed and some are not.
yeah, like 2-1 10Ks are just good. So that's something to consider. But the card obviously gets more powerful if we get like a pretty decent Rico early play in the next set, for instance. Oh
And the
god,
last color,
blue.
uh,
I
if it
think the
hurts you that
Dia.
much,
I think the Dia 3/2 might be the best card. It's definitely the card I'm playing in most of my decks, if not all. I think the 2K Punch is a card with potential. I don't like using the word potential that much, but it's a very generic card that doesn't fulfill the role in this deck that it would in a lot of other decks because Sunshine you're playing a lot more just value cards using air quotes. Plussing Brainstorm is fine. The 1-0 Dia double R is fine. That's probably it. The thing
yeah,
is,
I think those are the three.
just as a disclaimer to you listening at home, my projected apathy does not mean I'm disappointed with the set. If you listen to my podcast, you could hear that even with set one, I enjoyed the deck quite a bit. And I went over a list of things I potentially wanted from the extra booster, and I think I got all of those things. So I wasn't looking for a lot of things to begin with. And as a complement to the first set, I think this set does well at filling some of those holes.
I think it pushed the set to a very reasonable place. Like I think it's a very clear contender now, and probably significantly better than old Love Live.
I think Old Sunshine was already better than Old Love Live. Controversial
I
opinion.
don't think I can agree with that, but fair enough.
I think I don't know. Like
It was
Preston
pretty
Lee is a
bad.
piece of shit, and Preston Lee is the master of going 1-3 with original Love Live, where I'm always the one.
As you
Um,
like.
I don't know. Like I think just to compare the two, Old Sunshine had a lot going for it as a more interesting deck, and I think while Old Love Live definitely had a better top end tools, I think the early game for Sunshine felt a lot cleaner. Like whenever I played it.
Don't think I don't think those are the right words you're looking for. Cleaner, certainly, but I definitely don't think Sunshine was a particularly interesting set.
What? Okay, whatever, man. Like you play shitty sets anyway. Like I don't need to take this shit from you.
I mean, objectively speaking, sure. Uh,
What a
I
comeback.
agree to this. What do I have to say? You had a Salvage Brainstorm, a Runner, a level 1 Bomb, and an Azasa. That's really not very interesting.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and I'm not calling any of those cards interesting. Like the most
just-
interesting thing to me was maximizing Mari.
Sure.
And I
Anyway,
think, and like as another thing about Sunshine, I feel like Sunshine was extremely powerful at tri-fielding early, which I think is pretty good strategy if your deck can sustain it.
sure. It had a Ricky-esque card and a Runner, so it certainly was able to do that.
Yeah, well,
And like with that, I think we'll bring it to a close. Thank you guys for being here. I think all in all, Sunshine's gotten quite a big boost from the new extra booster. There are still some people naysaying, but those people are they live off naysaying, so let them say all they want.
I can't believe we did
It's
this video in
very-
one take.
Very competitive now. I think there's a lot to build around, a lot to try out, and a lot to not try out. Like pretty much everything related to that blue offense, because
Yeah.
that card and are rubbish. Regardless, if you want to try it out, that's your prerogative. We're not going to stop you, but have fun wasting your time. Anyway, this has been Top Tier Tiers. Subscribe, do whatever. We'll be trying to catch sets we haven't covered yet. We've notably not done Bang Dream. One of the people we want on the cast is available at a reasonable time for us. So we'll get that one out soon, and we'll be going for Star Wars and Vivid Strike relatively soon.
actually,
from
who
all of
wants
us-
to be on Bang Dream?
Oh, Connor wanted in on Bang Dream.
Oh
So
my God, Connor, Jesus Christ. What are you doing, man?
yeah, so we're gonna go ahead. If we can't get Bang Dream going, we'll just do Star Wars and or Vivid Strike, and well, Connor wants in on Vivid Strike as well. So
Oh no.
anyway,
Is he going to be our
we get to
bottleneck?
mock him on air. It'll be great. The bottleneck's because he's in yet another time zone, which is back for us, but we'll work around it. Star Wars is like we could probably do a 2-man one if we needed to. Anyway, that's us at Top Tier Tiers. Thank you for listening.
Yep.
For videos and leave some feedback if you want, and we'll see you next time.